All right, we're here with two of the route setters from this weekend, Carlos and Nicky. Guys, let's take a walk along the wall, have a look at some of your creations. Carlos, you are the head route setter of the qualification round.
Yes, I was, but was teamwork, really, because take all the decision alone is crazy. It's crazy.
How many people in your team?
We are 10 setters, But my responsibility was more the black boulder and white boulder, and the blue and red for another shift. Yeah.
So for you guys at home, the black boulders are the 20 hardest boulders, and it's color coordinated, 20 boulders for each level of difficulty. And Nicky, the Studio Bloc Masters is really known for its style of boulders. They take all the holes off around the center, and they make every line absolutely stunning, and it looks like you guys have done another great job.
Yeah, I think we tried really hard Studio Bloc team, to put up a good show. They managed it quite well. The gym was only closed yesterday, and we started on the outside of the gym and then went on Friday to the inner islands. And we got so many nice holes and good material. And I think it looks good, it climbs good. Carlos provided a really well-balanced round for the black and white boulders, and I think we can enjoy a semi-final and a final, which is worth watching, hopefully.
Let's just have a look along here. Actually, one of the standout boulders when I was walking around earlier, we were looking at the ginormous beta volumes that down here. I don't know who made those. But I mean, this is just one example of the effort that the route setting team goes into. It's just incredible. Every boulder has a stunning set of volumes. For a head route setter, it must be an honor to work on such an event.
Yeah. For me, it's a pleasure to be here. I feel every year I feel a little bit pressure about the climbers because I don't know who come. And my goal is the people when the people finish the round and go out to home happy and come back the next year.
Well, I mean, it seems to have gone really well in the first session. Nicky, predictions for the afternoon?
Sorry. I don't know who's in the second group, but we know that one of our boulders hasn't been sent yet, and I'm crossing my fingers and praying to God, to the Lord of Friction, that these new access boulder will get climbed. And I think the second group is a little bit weaker, but they all should know all the betas and all the ways to climb it. So I don't have any predictions, I'm sorry.
My prediction is people are going to lose a lot of skin but have a lot of fun. Tomorrow is obviously the big show, the semi-finals and finals. Best of luck, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I would say the first point for a good belaying is that the belayer keeps me from hitting the ground. This is the first most important point. Probably one of the number one points in belaying is to never take your brake hand off the rope.
Welcome to Studio Bloc Masters 2020 here at Darmstadt at Studio Bloc, and I'll welcome headsetter Erik Heldmann from Darmstadt. You are the headsetter for Darmstadt and Mannheim as well?
Yeah, correct.
And you're also the headsetter and head organizer for the qualification round and finals, or?
Only for the qualification round.
So how did it go? Like, how did you set with your team the qualification round?
So we set 80 problems and make two groups. One group for the harder, so white and black, and one for the easier group from red to blue. And yeah, for the harder group, Carlos make the chief, and for the easier group, I and Jan, we both together.
You sound a little bit not sick, but you seemed like to lose your voice. Why?
Yeah, because it was hard work the last days, and I have to scream every time Toby because the boulder was not perfect. Yeah.
Oh, bold statement.
Definitely not true.
How was it setting for a young chief setter like Erik?
Oh, honestly, I mean, I'm here like the second time in a row now. So last year, I think it was your first time chiefing it, right? And I think you were not chief for Studio Bloc for such a long time. And Erik is one of the strictest guys I know in the business. He's one of the youngest and strictest. So he's a clear vision of what he wants to have, basically. Sometimes these are not exactly my visions, and I try to sneak some in. For example, like mixing and like
Mixing
brands of
brands.
holds. Exactly. Or putting some screw on fiberglass or whatever. So in general, he's a really, really good chief and doing it in such a good way because he has this clear vision, I think.
How important is it for you to have a chief setter who lets you do the sets you want and the climbs you want, who offers you some freedom and creativity, but at the same time he gives you a clear structure, time schedule, time plan, difficulty-wise, color-wise?
Yeah, it's absolutely crucial, I have to say. It's like imagine it to be like a little orchestra, and if every instrument is doing what it wants, I don't know, in the end of the day the track will be shit. And on the other hand, I guess we would stay here until midnight every day. So you can imagine it like this. We have a list of 80 problems in different difficulties. And then usually you just get an idea of what the problem should be like. Then you have a word like crims or a word like funky or tricky, coordination. So there are different words we can play with. And Eric is not telling us to set, I don't know, a flag move or like, I don't know, like triple dyno. So
Well, he seems to be like a nice guy.
yeah, it's a nice guy. He's doing it quite well. So I think it's a nice mixture of having an idea of what to set, but with the freedom of being very creative still. And in the end of the day, what is created by that is that the rounds of each difficulty are very, very diverse, which is super important for a comp like this.
When it comes back to the orchestra, what would you consider yourself as an instrument?
A trombone, maybe, or a timpani roll. Loud and heavy.
Loud and heavy, a little bit of compression, a little bit of big fat sloper once in a while.
Exactly.
That was about the qualification round. Toby was not here for the finals and the semi-final round, as far as I know. Who was the setting team for the finals and the semi-final round?
Reini, Carlos, Matze, Robert, and Olga from Poland.
And how did this work out?
Yeah, I think pretty good. Reini made the chief, and for me it was a little bit unstructured, but I think the result is very good. But that's the different ways.
Interesting to hear that. Interesting, really interesting indeed. What do you think of the starting field right now? You've seen a couple of competitors right now. I think we have some weaker guys like Vadim Timonov. I think his physical shape is not up to date right now.
Yeah, kind of like Jakob Schugert, you know, or
Yeah,
Janja
yeah,
Gambret. You see them climbing, you think like, oh, I thought these guys are aliens, but they're not.
So, who's your favorite so far?
For both genders?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, honestly, no. I think Jakob appeared in a very, very strong manner. And I think...
Also Gregor.
Gregor as well. I don't know about Gregor's
Yeah,
results.
I see him, and he's in a good shape, I think.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, right now, while we're doing this interview, I think the second group is starting, and there are not that many semi-finalists, potential finalists, I think. And Jakob, I think he made 19 tops and like 12 flashes or something.
Yeah, Vadim did all 20.
Vadim did all 20.
All
I didn't
20.
even know that, to be honest. So yeah, these guys look in a pretty good shape, but we expected that.
Yeah.
For the women, of course, I mean, we have Janja Gambert here, who's a standalone, I think, for her gender. But I'm not really sure. She might not be in the training period of training for bouldering right now. It seemed like she's more probably, because of the Olympics, doing a lot of lead and a lot of speed training as well.
Yeah.
So compared to last year, I have to admit, I mean, we just saw the qualies, right? But she might not be in the same peak shape she was last year. But it's just the qualies. And girls like Oriane Breton, for example, like young runner-ups, it could get super interesting. And it's not, I wouldn't say that Janja will win it for sure. Last year, I think this would be what I've said when you would have asked me last year. Yeah.
So, looking forward to today when this will be presented and broadcasted. We are close to the semifinals and closer to the finals, and you've seen some of the competitors. what do you think will be the most exciting boulder you are looking forward to in the semi-final round?
I think the black one from Reini. I think it starts with the toe hook. Could be a very cool move.
For the girls?
Yeah, for the girls.
Yeah, and the boys?
It's hard to say. Everything is cool.
There's a coordinated boulder that Eric was setting. We'll
Hopefully
see
it works. If
Huh?
it works, it would be cool.
Yeah.
If not,
exactly.
Yeah.
We're still a bit. I just had a look at it and was part of the discussion. It could be that the triple move could be stopped if you are super strong.
I'm pretty sure it's breakable. I'll bet 10 euros that someone will stop at the first blue pill jug. Do you bet against me?
Do it.
it depends if we tweak it a little bit or the version it stays now.
Ooh, I don't know. Yeah, Reini isn't here. Like, if you want to tweak it, okay.
I think we tweak it.
You
a
get
little
only 10 euro if it stays like this.
bit. I think we will tweak it.
Okay. And to close the topic, who's your favorite? Girls and boys for tomorrow.
I think Janja and Gregor.
Jakob and I just hope for Oriane.
I'd say, Oriane, yeah. Oriane Beton.
Would be a surprise.
She's a jack of all trades. She has a lot of skills. She doesn't have any pressure. Pressure is a big topic in the competition climbing. I say Oriane and...
You say Oriane as well.
Yeah, I'm just...
You don't know the rest of the field apart from Janja and Oriane, so you had to pick one of the... Yeah, of course, yeah.
I know Chloe,
Yeah,
Chloe.
Chloe.
But I've seen the final round and...
Helene Wolf from Hamburg.
Oh,
Helene
yeah.
Wolf, yeah.
Big shout out to Helene Wolf. First or second?
And I say for the boys, hopefully Jakob or Gregor. I just want them to put up a good show, and I hope that all the bowlers work somehow. I'm getting a little bit desperate when it comes to my slab because they crushed our qualification slab, which was quite hard, but with the pressure on top of being in the semi-final of the Studio Bloc Masters 2020, I think it could also crush some. What's it called? Just some climbers, and they're
Maybe, and it will be hot tomorrow, right? Today it was quite cold in the gym, so tomorrow
it's
will be
quite
hot,
cold. I
so
have to
they
wear my scarf
slip
all
a
day
lot.
long. So thank you, Eric and Toby, for joining me here
cheers
before
for
the
having us.
finals, and I hope you guys enjoy the finals. It's for the charity, it's for a good cause. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the show. If you have anything to complain, just write it somewhere. We will not read it. If you have like positive comments, we enjoy that. Nikki out. Enjoy the finals. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Chloe, thanks for joining us. You've just finished the qualification round. How was it out there for you?
It was a big fight, I would say, because it's a lot of boulders and we want to try everything because the holes are amazing and the boulder setting is very good. So yeah, I rushed a bit, but it was very good and I'm happy how I climbed.
Traditionally, it's a confusing round in many ways because there's so many boulders. You have to get your tactics right to get as many points as possible. How were your tactics today?
It's few years I compete here, so I know the level, the colors level I can do. So I tried to flash the white. I tried, and I know I can do some black ones, but it's hard to not lose time in the black because I feel I can do them, but several black on a session is very hard, so I don't have to lose time on them.
One really important thing is skin throughout the weekend. How did you manage to hold up today? Have you got anything left?
Yeah, a bit left. Yeah, so it will be interesting with the skin. But I think my tactic was to warm up before the start, so on the campus board and the wood holes, because it's less dangerous for the skin. And then I try to start on difficult boulders, not too difficult, but not the first ones.
Well, you're really one of the big superstars here at the Studio Bloc Masters. Everyone will be praying for you for the semi-finals and hopefully the finals tomorrow, and best of luck out there.
Thank you very much.
Shall we make a start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm joined by Andrzej Perhacz.
Yes. Perhaps.
Yeah. Well, thanks for correcting me on that. But
Yeah,
obviously, my
no worries.
Slovenian is not that great. But champion from Studio Bloc, 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels great to be
It
back
must
again.
seem like a long time ago, actually.
Yeah, quite a long time. Last season was like super long, and it felt like I completely forgot about Studio Bloc. And now, while I'm being back here, like some of the memories are coming back. It was like a great competition, and hopefully this year is gonna be even better.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's amazing out there already. We've got like a super turnout of athletes. Sadly, we're missing a few Italians. Gabriele Moroni couldn't
Yeah, I saw,
actually
yeah.
make it. Flights cancelled and all
Two
those sorts of
flights
things.
cancelled.
2 flights cancelled,
flights
yeah.
cancelled.
Not the best of luck. But we have got some big names, and obviously you are here, and a lot of your teammates are also along for the
Yeah,
ride
we
as
have
well.
a huge Slovenian team here.
Yeah, and they're all strong and keen for it this year.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think this year we might be even like a stronger team than last year. So hopefully, many climbers advance in the semifinals. But we'll see. So our round just finished, and we'll see what happens.
And obviously the style of the boulders here, there's in total there's 80 boulders. The challenge is to try and climb as many black boulders as possible, the hardest of the grade,
Yes.
of which there's 20.
Yes.
And obviously there's a lot of volumes, a lot of fiberglass, a lot of
Yeah, for sure,
wooden volumes.
With the
and
new
not
new
so
age
many
bouldering.
crimps.
Yeah, not so many crimps. But usually every year here's like one super crimpy problem, which I really like. So
The black one at the far end.
yeah, always
yeah.
in the same
All
place
on
or
shoulders.
in the same area.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's a perfect angle
Yeah.
for nasty crimps. So
Yeah.
how's the skin held up?
Well, it's not super good, like, but I'm bleeding only from one fingertip. So, like, if I advance tomorrow, I'm like more positive about my climbing tomorrow. I'll hopefully overnight the skin heals, but it's not gonna be super good tomorrow.
I can't really
Anyway, yeah.
imagine anybody's come out of the qualification with good skin.
Yeah,
really,
maybe,
to be honest.
maybe like
I
you
think
need.
everybody will suffer.
Yeah, I think so. Like, you really need to watch your tries, so as many flashes as possible to get like to preserve your skin. But I think that some climbers have better skin than others, and they'll not like struggle much. But I'm not such climber, so I really usually don't have skin, so I'm just kind of getting used to it, you know. Because if you're just like whining, yeah, I don't have skin, like you get into the wrong mindset for the competition. So I just say, okay, yeah,
That's the way it is.
not the best skin. I'm gonna use tape, do whatever I can.
Yeah. And I saw you trying the last squadra
Yeah.
boulder there,
With tapes.
and with quite a lot of tape on.
Yeah, but that was like prevention. So
Yeah.
if I advance tomorrow, it's gonna be better.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks very much for joining us, and best of luck.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks.
Cheers,
Good
man.
for talking.
All right, we're here. The qualification is just finished with Jakob Schubert, Alberto Inez Lopez. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Let's take a walk along the competition wall here, and we're going to talk about the big thing that's happening in 2020, the Olympics. So as we walk along, people at home can have a look and opportunity to see some of these boulders. But Jakob, last year was obviously a huge pressure for you and the rest of the athletes, but qualifying for the Olympics, you've done the job, and now it's just looking forward to August and the actual event. How was it all the way through 2019 and preparing for that Olympic qualification event in Hachioji?
Well, it was really good. I would say I was really happy to get it at the first shot at Hachioji. It took away a lot of pressure and gave me some more time to prepare and like work on some speed, and also do a rock trip a bit earlier already in October, which are all things that I couldn't have done if I would have had to go to Toulouse. So I was really psyched. But you had like still in your mind that if you can't do it in Hachioji, you could go to Toulouse, you could go to the European Championship. So this is going to change about the Olympics. There it's really only that one shot, and we need to be prepared in August. And yeah, I'm doing my best to be.
Best to be ready. Alberto, let's take a bit of a walk here so the guys at home can see the atmosphere and the craziness of Studio Bloc. Jakob said he managed to qualify in Hachioji. For you, it was Toulouse. How was that qualification event?
The qualification in Toulouse was really weird, I think, because the format in the comp wasn't really clear. Like, it was a bit crazy, but I was so happy to qualify there because I knew that qualifying Moscow this year will be really hard because winter it's almost there you have a very low chance. So yeah, I was so happy to qualify in Toulouse.
It was an awesome competition. Jakob, just back to you. How does it change the 2020 World Cup season for you? A lot of people are asking that question. What does it do to the IFSC season? How are you going to approach it this year?
Well, I mean, right now it's still changing a lot because of the virus, unfortunately. I mean, already some events have been cancelled, and we as athletes still are uncertain, like how many comps we're actually going to have. But obviously it changes a bit, but I still want to do quite a few bouldering competitions. It always takes a few comps to get into that bouldering rhythm, like the pressure of sending a tricky boulder in 5 minutes. How are the setters going to set this year? I mean, bouldering is always special, so I like to gain some experience before the Olympics. And then lead, I would definitely do a little less just because the events are so close to the Olympics already. So I still want to do 1 or 2 just to get into the right rhythm. Same as in bouldering, get the feeling. But then, yeah, obviously the big goal is the Olympics, and you try to be in shape there, and everything else doesn't matter as much, I would say.
And Albert, 2020 is huge, obviously. How have you prepared over the winter?
In the winter, the preparation was pretty hard because in Barcelona and in Spain, we don't have really good walls to train. So I have to travel a lot, like to Innsbruck or somewhere in Europe, because we can train. So now in the spring, I'm more focusing in the preparation, like more specific boulders, more lead climbing. So yeah, that is.
And Jakob, let's walk along the competition wall here. This is where the semi-finals and finals are going to be tomorrow. You've had to go through the brutal qualification round here. As you can see on the walls behind us, so many big holes, big volumes, and a lot of very physical climbing. How is the Studio Bloc Masters really as a preparation event?
Yeah, it's really fun. I really like the qualification format because you get to climb so much. Usually you only climb like 5 boulders in the qualification, but here you get to do 20, and they're all like kind of competition style, or like more, not really a lot of physical climbing, but a lot of jumping around and slabs and volumes. So these are all like things that I still have to work on, and it's things that are harder to train than like just the physical spray wall climbing. So it's perfect preparation before the international season starts.
And Alberto, in it for the win tomorrow?
What?
In for the win tomorrow. I think you said what there on purpose. You're just playing with me. For you, you're looking for a good result.
Yeah, I mean, I want to do it well, but I don't know. I don't even know if I'm in the semis. So.
You're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I think so, but I'm not sure. So yeah, first I want to focus in the semis if I'm in it, and then look for the finals.
All right, guys, you had to have the opportunity to take the rest of the afternoon off, chill, to cheer on your friends, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
So, Jacobo, welcome to Studio Bloc here in Germany.
Thank you.
I hear you're going to have a climb on the boulders later on. We're going to have a little competition.
Yeah, sounds good. There are so many cool boulders. I'm really excited to try some of them.
Yeah, man, for sure. It's one of the best events going. But we're actually here to just talk about some of the new La Sportiva shoes. Mm-hmm. And you've got the theory in your hand.
Yeah.
It's something you've worked quite closely with La Sportiva on. You're actually a La Sportiva sponsored athlete, but this is maybe a step forward for you in your relationship with Sportiva?
Yeah, I mean, La Sportiva always choose, when they work on some projects, they always choose some athletes to work with on that specific project. I think it's really cool from the R&D department that they work so close with the climbers. And I've been helping with this shoe and the solution comp. And the idea of this shoe is basically Pietro and Luca, the guys behind the R&D department, they started to look at the evolution of route setting, especially in bouldering comps, and they wanted to come up with something which will suit that style, and that's their answer.
Cool. So the first thing that struck me when I picked the shoes up is obviously how soft the midsole is in this shoe. This is a very specific choice by Sportiva, yeah?
Yeah, they wanted to do something like really soft, because if you just go outside and have a look on the boulders, you can see that most of the boulders have like really big volumes where you have to step on. So they wanted to do something really soft, which is good for smearing. At the same time, they still wanted to do something good for edging, like for standing on small footholds. And that's why they came up with the idea of having a sole with different thicknesses. So the sole is basically thicker on the top, and it gets thinner on the midsole.
Yeah. I think that's always been a problem for competition climbers, because they're juggling between two styles of boulders.
Yeah.
And nowadays a modern setter might put the two styles of boulders into one boulder, where they need to smear and then they also need to edge as well. So this is
exactly, like
a good solution for
it. I remember that Luca and Pietro talk with us about that, because most of the times you have to maybe start on really big volumes, as you said, and then you have to stand on a really small footholds, and so it's hard to find a shoe which is good for everything, and that's their answer.
And finally, there's also an interesting tweak just on the side rand here. Can you take us through the idea behind that?
Yeah, that's called D technology, something new, and they basically wanted to do something between the no edge technology and the normal like edging technology. And so the shoe has a normal edge on the top for, as I said, for standing on like small footholds, but then the sole basically folds on the top of the shoe, on the midsole, on the inside and on the outside. And why?
Just hold it up. Hopefully, you can see the rand rolling around the edge of the shoe there.
Because most of the time, or quite often, you have to toe hook on something, and then you basically roll, your foot like that. And so the D technology will basically make the transition from toe hooking to standing easier.
Cool. So it all sounds exciting, and there's more than one new model as well. There's more than the Theory.
Yeah, there are two new shoes. On the top of the range of the shoes, there is the Solution Comp, which is basically a new solution, the same shape but is way softer, with a different heel, also with like a more narrow heel with low volume heel, which is better for heel hooking on small like trims, and it looks really simple. And then there is a new speed climbing shoe, which is called Cobra 499, and it's a shoe which is specifically designed just for speed climbing. It's really soft. It has a plastic piece on the top here of the shoe, which basically doesn't have any friction. So if you
drag
hit
on the wall,
if you drag your foot on the wall, it's basically it makes exactly the other way, or the opposite thing as well. The shoe does. And also the heel is really soft. It basically it's really basic, but it's just designed for speed climbing and for Olympics.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much for joining us and taking us through the new La Sportiva range.
Thank you.
We didn't need big budgets, big gyms, a big crowd, big news to become a big sport.
Good afternoon and a very warm welcome back to Darmstadt, Germany. We are live for the Studio Bloc Masters Grand Final. 6 men and 6 women battling it out tonight for a place on the podium. in the studio, plenty of us this time, co-commentator Gaz Parry, circuit climbing's Eddie Falk, and Urshka Rapusic. You join us at last in the booth. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
So guys, Gaz, we've got a little bit of content to get through here. Studio Bloc Masters, it really is the People's World Cup.
Oh, I wanted to say that one, but
Stole your line.
I was going to steal your line, actually, but, you know, yeah, I mean, it's an amazing venue here, an amazing climbing wall, so many good holds. The ability for people that are just beginners or mediocre climbers or professionals to actually rub shoulders with the world's best. What an amazing place to be and what an amazing place to compete.
Urshka, you were competing yesterday. An amazing 2019 for you, European boulder champion. How was it yesterday for you? A tough round?
Yeah, Studio Bloc is always like really hard and intense competition. Season 20 and 19 was like perfect. Well, at least at the end. I didn't start it well, but I finished it in style. But yesterday, unfortunately, I missed semifinals by 2 points, which is like a bit of bad luck. But still, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. This time, the luck wasn't on my side, but I'm still happy to support my teammates and cheer as loud as I can for them to do their best.
Well, it's great that you finally come in the booth with us today. And one of the questions I wanted to ask you this morning was basically about the Slovenian team. I mean, I think we've got 5 Slovenian team members in the finals, 2 in the men's and 3 in the ladies. And the team is so strong, it's got so much depth to it as well, but also something that we see when you're all traveling together, it's very, you work together really closely and you train together and spend a lot of time together. Is that a big positive for you guys?
Yeah, actually Slovenia, as you know, is really small, so we are lucky to be able to train together a lot, even though we are not from the same team. But yeah, the atmosphere in our team is like amazing. We are all really, really close friends and we have the best time, which I think is an important factor when it comes to competition, that you feel well in your team and that you know that the team always supports you and cheers for you. And we also have really like passionate staff, like our coaches, our physio. They all work with their like soul and heart into climbing, into our sport. So yeah, that's where the good results are made.
It really does show. The proof is in the pudding, as the phrase goes. That you know, we see the team, the Slovenian team, traveling together from the outside, and it is that group that works really close together and always happy and friendly. It was great fun this morning at breakfast, messing around with the cushions and taking selfies and stuff like that. I mean, it's super nice to see, and really, to me, and I think to Mike and Eddie, this is what climbing is all about. And regardless of the fact we've got the Olympics coming up, this is climbing. I think it's to me, it's brilliant. Love it.
Eddie, Urshka and the Slovenians are obviously pretty dominant here, but it was nearly, 750 competitors here at Studio Bloc Masters. It was a pretty high order to actually get through to the semi-final round. We had the semi-final, it seems like just an hour or so ago when that ended. How did you find the semi-final round went?
Semi-finals was super interesting because the way people qualified into it was maybe a little bit out of position. So you saw some very strong climbers go out early, and that kind of put the fear into everyone's heart, because when you had Yannick, Yene and Gregor all go out early and all do really well on the boulders, everyone was a little bit worried that maybe the boulders had been undercooked, that maybe it was going to be a bit of a flash round. But as the round went on, you just saw that maybe they'd qualified a little out of position and things really did settle down. But really intense round, just a lot of heartbreak. You know, Alexei Rupsov missed his finals, got to the top of all 4 problems, but only held on to the top of 2 of those problems.
Yeah, it really was brutal. And we were saying, Gaz, in the commentary position here, that the boulder round, it seemed like it was a bit of a smash fest at the beginning. We were predicting loads of people were going to go through with 4 tops, but in the end, the route setters seemed to do a good job.
Well, yeah, I mean, as Eddie said about some of the good climbers coming out early, obviously the one that I was focusing on was Jörne, and it was brilliant that he made it through into the semi-final after having broken his arm, and then to actually perform, you know, he's one of these people that really gives it absolutely everything, every competition, every time he competes, every time he pulls in a boulder, every party he goes to, he just gives it his all, and it goes to show he's in the final once again.
And Özge, you were watching the semi-finals from right up the front of the crowd with cheering on your teammates. How was it for you?
It was really nervous. I'm always like, sometimes I'm even more nervous when I cheer for my teammates because I truly wish them all the best, and I want to like cheer so loud that they may make it to the top. But luckily we've done like as a team, we've done a really good performance. We have many finalists. So yeah, it was really nice to watch them.
And how does this event prepare you for the season that is to come?
Yeah, it's always nice to prepare mentally for the competition, to like feel this adrenaline and competition atmosphere again, and like it's a good practice because you have to be really, really focused and really calm, even though you're like you're really stressed out and it's really intense. So.
Okay, guys, as you can see there on the widescreen, we're not far off the start of this competition, but Gaz and Eddie, Gaz first, predictions for tonight's final?
Jörne.
Eddie?
Vadim, and of course the one and only Janja Gambret.
For you, do I need to ask?
Only Slovenians on the podium.
All of the Slovenians.
All
Slovenian
of them.
1, 2, 3 maybe?
Yeah, all of them. Like
all of them winning.
Yeah. No, but I'm sure they'll score a great result.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Eddie and Özge, excuse me, you can both get yourselves out of here and get down to the front of the wall. Özge, hopefully you'll be able to join us during the final for a couple of comments as well. But thank you for joining us. Do enjoy it down the front. Gaz and I will take our positions in the commentary booth and we'll get on with this competition. Thank you, guys.
See you guys
later. Thank you very much. See you guys out there.
Studio Bloc Masters, it is always a good one to come and watch. They really do seem to pack in the people down the front of the wall, and I'm sure the lights will be dipping soon, and they usually go on for a pretty big show here.
Yeah, it's pretty rammed out there. A lot of people have come back after the semi-final to watch this final, and it looks like it's going to be an absolutely banger of an event out there. We've had a little look around the boulders earlier on, and they certainly still look hard. It's not like they've reeled them in a little bit for the final, but they're definitely looking stern out there still.
Yeah, I have to say, for all the kind of the route setting geeks out there, the route setting team here is pretty vast, but they were going up right to the very limit of the time. They have this massive curtain that gets pulled down to the crowd, and everybody else can't see the boulders until the last minute. They've revealed those boulders just as the route setters were pretty much picking up their screws and making a run for it. And yeah, they've done a pretty spectacular job, I would say. There's some incredible looking volume lines, and they've used a lot of space for every single boulder. So they've used what was space for 8 boulders for just 4. You can start to get a bit of an idea of where those boulders are. We have got a full boulder observation for you. And just to say early on that if you're watching the semi-final round, you'll know that the results system did die completely. So we are out where we have no live results whatsoever. So Gaz and I are going to do our absolute best for you guys, and we're going to attempt, rightly or wrongly, against advice, to try and score this one on the fly for you guys. But
I know, we actually have a score sheet here in the studio, and yeah, I've never used one before.
Well, as long as you've got a pen and paper, we'll be good.
I've got a pen, I've got a bit of paper, and I've had a little briefing of how to score this event, and yeah, we'll give it a go, and we'll try and keep you as informed as it is physically possible.
Yeah, we do hope there's going to be a complicated system of pens and paper and bits of stuff being passed from the front of the wall to us. We will try and track every single attempt. And ultimately, though, it's not easy to commentate, check facts and figures, and do the scoring at the same time. So ultimately, we're going to concentrate on the performances on the wall and the climbers that are being introduced now, 6 men and 6 women. You just see Jesse Pils and Mia Krampel there, first of the Slovenians coming out there in the women's competition.
In the men's already on the map. We've got Yannick Floe, Jan-Luca Posch and Sergej Kopishko.
There's Gregor still coming around with his pillow.
Yeah, I mentioned this before about the pillow. We were taking selfies at breakfast, and this is not Gregor's pillow. I think
he's nicked it.
I think it's from the hotel we stayed in last night. But
someone must be paying him some money to come out with that.
Well, the hotel do put quite a lot of effort into this event. They host all the athletes. They put up with a not really an after-comp party. It's more of a mid-comp sort of dance-off. That was last night. And we were staying on, Mike was on the 4th floor, I was on the 5th floor, and you could still hear the beat through the floors.
Really exciting to see young Slovenian coming out third tonight with me. Let's see Tarkush, excuse me. We just had a lesson from Ushka as to the Slovenian pronunciations, but let's see Tarkush. Really great to see the young 16-year-old. Just the Slovenian team, as we talked about quite a bit there with Urska, is just incredible. Lučka Rakovic joins her, along with Chloe Collier. And interestingly, if you did catch the semi-final stream, you'll see that Eddie came in to give us a bit of information that Chloe heard a significant noise, a bit of a crack and a pop in her bicep during the semi-final round, but she has had it checked by a physio, and she is going to compete tonight. So yeah, a really big effort there from Chloe.
I did manage to have a quick chat with Chloe while she was getting some treatment off one of the Slovenian physios, and he believes it's just a little bit of damage to the muscle. So hopefully it's not too serious. He's sort of given her the nod to carry on and compete. I'm sure she'll be very aware of she needs to take it easy and possibly pull out. At the end of the day, we hope that's not going to be the case. I know she's got quite a bit of strapping on there as well, so hopefully she will be fine for the final. And there we see the full lineup of the ladies. Yanya has just joined on the mat alongside Vadim Timonov, the 2 highest qualifiers from the semi-final.
The guys will be going into a boulder observation period here, so they have been in isolation, as you can see, running from back in the back area behind the curtain. They're going to go into boulder observation. During the boulder observation, we have some close-up videos for you, and we will bring you women's #1 boulder now, hopefully. So there you can see it in a slow-mo across the wall. Starting, it's going to be 3 points on the furthest left-hand volume, 1 tag on the far right. In this corner of doom here at the Studio Bloc wall, it's caused a lot of problems over the years. Then, as per pretty much the theme here, big blobs, big volume wrestling, all the way off to the right-hand side, and a tricky move to finish. We've got very little gen, I would say, on how these boulders are going to be climbed, so we're going to be living it live with you guys. Say the route setters were super busy right up to it. Let's have a look at men's #1 now, a bit closer.
There we go, men's #1 starts off with the 2 large black footholds, 2 small crimps, undercut and horizontal crimp with the left hand. And it was quite hard observing this boulder whether it was going to be a 1-2 or a 1-2-3. We weren't quite sure. I think you may be able to stop on that middle of the 3 first black volumes, and then a big move up into a hard press and match to finish.
So that gives you a bit of a closer idea. The slow pan there just gives you a kind of a front-on angle and a bit closer. A lot less chalk than there is now. The route setters, these videos were filmed on earlier on in the week. I'm not sure which day, probably Thursday, earlier on in the week, and filmed then, so we can give you guys a really good close-up of what's what. It does look like a coordination jump to start in the men's competition. We saw frills and spills in the semi-final round on boulder #1. We saw how I bear to like to think that how many different methods. We saw a direct method, a semi-direct method. We saw
1, 2, 3 jumps, double jumps, static pretty much. We saw it all on the men's category, and this was the one the route setters were really working on right to the end there, and you can see Jone and Gregor Vzonik just thinking that one through together.
And just back to the first boulder quickly. Those of you with a very keen eyesight will probably be comparing the viewing that the ladies had and the little slow-mo video, and you'll see the 2 big grey volumes have had some blockers inserted, so you're not able to use the crack, which is what they run across.
Let's have a look then at women's number 2. There we go, big black Squadra volumes, dual texture. Kind of seeing these a lot now. Bit of a fierce stand-up move right at the beginning. Do believe you're going to be sort of starting in that crouch, was it? Crunched, that's a word I've never used. Scrunched? Bunched.
That's the one, yeah.
Starting the bunched up position.
Get there in the end.
Big stand up into a pair of Gastons, double shoulders at the beginning, possibly a little bit of a jump to them as well. And then a bit of volume wrestling. The right-hand side of that next set of volumes does have a little jib on it as well. So yeah, interesting little stand-up boulder. Definitely some toe hooking going on out on the far right-hand side as well. So looking forward to women's number 2. Pretty funky set of dual texture volumes.
Yeah, so you can see, for those of you that know these volumes, that all the texture is on the underside, and the top side of these is almost impossible to stand on.
You can see the men starting to observe boulder number 2, so let's have a closer look at that one as well, and we will need it on this one because this is an absolute journey. The mega cones, just an absolute sea of these cone volumes. Well, I mean, we had a go at reading this. We attempted to suggest just a couple of different ways to observe this for the guys in 2 minutes. Could be really tough. There's a couple of jibs in the middle of the centre there on the cone, the first cone that you get to. A few extra screw-ons, there's a couple of big blocker cones, and you've got a ginormous ledge, and then just a huge span up to the top ledge. So that one's a real confuser, and I think the guys are really going to have to work quite hard there to figure that one out.
Yeah, it looks like there's a few different ways, but the start seems fairly obvious. You start with the right hand, I think, up on the highest green stripe there, the cone, and then jump into a toe hook, and then it depends which way you spin out of that, and possibly, as we observed, maybe a bit of a knee bar.
Let's just jump straight into women's number 3 then. Let's have a close pan around that one. Okay, so it starts on these 2 long grey volumes, and there's a bit of a Gaston for the right hand to start. Tricky little section of walking on this bottom of this volume. And Gaz, you were talking to one of the female route setters, Olga, about this boulder a little bit. There's a little bit of controversy about the start, it seemed.
Yeah, I think they've settled with the starting position that actually is there on the main screen, not on this video view. So the 3 stripes on the lowest grey triangle and 1 stripe on a shoulder press, and basically what she would like to do is to force the start, so you're starting with a shoulder press, and it's not really forcing it to make a certain level of boulder, it's just forcing a nicer climbing experience rather than a nasty swap in the first start hold. Basically it was all down to making actually a slightly nicer experience, which was quite cool to hear as well. Rather than something ugly, a little bit ugly.
Yeah, on this day, International Women's Day, it's great to see a female route setter as part of this team. She was really, really working hard behind the screens. The head route setter here, Reini Pitchtinger from Austria, putting her through her paces, that's for sure. Piling the pressure on this team to make sure there's a big show here tonight. Let's have a look at the men's next boulder then. On this far right-hand side of the wall, it's minimalist, I'm going to say, guys.
Most definitely minimalist. But yeah, you can see that right-hand volume does poke off the side of the wall. It's got another additional grey triangle behind it. It's quite hard to read the method, read the sequence on this. Maybe you catch a toe, something on that arete, and then up with the right hand and shoulder press back onto the left foot to that finishing hold. But all in all, that is a very few holds, all of which are quite bad in nature.
Yeah, it's just some blobs of chalk. That chalk down on that far right-hand volume that's overhanging the arete there, that confused me a bit, to be honest, on the observation. Maybe it's confusing the climbers here a little bit as well. Not immediately obvious what you're supposed to do with that, whether you do go down to it with a hand or it's just a foothold.
So that's boulder over, and we will go and observe the final boulder now. And yet another massive journey for the men on some really super huge volumes here.
Let's have a closer look at this women's boulder then. Big Squadra volumes. Squadra or the Axis?
Axis, actually, these, Mike.
Excuse me, Squadra. Yeah, that's the brand. This is the boulder. Another utter journey here in the Studio Bloc Masters final. It's just a battle. It's going to be battle royale out there tonight, as if having a huge qualifying tour yesterday wasn't hard enough. Semi-finals today, and yeah, there's some really long boulders, a lot of power endurance. That lady just touching the holes there, Jessie Peels, we'd have thought she's definitely one of the favourites coming out tonight. She's actually coming out first, qualified in 6th position.
I think skin on this final boulder for the women is going to be absolutely critical. It's all going to rely on friction between the hand and the volume.
You can see the men fondling their final boulder. Let's have a closer look through this one, because this is a confuser as well. Ginormous wave volumes. This is the brand Beta. Starts all 4 points on the left-hand volume. There's a bit of a screw on for your left hand. You have to wrestle that, work your way through these sort of slotty crimps. There's a heel hook down low on that sort of lower ginormous wave. And then you make your way eventually to the 3rd wave, and then you end up mounting that completely all the way on the right-hand side. And then you do the hero walk up the volume, or the walk of shame, and scuff your way up that to finish on that ginormous ledge.
Probably finishing with a little jump as well to that top ledge by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's a pretty spectacular set of boulders.
Most definitely, and I'm sure it's going to be a spectacular final to match these boulders as well. Obviously, we've got some super big names in there. Like I said, Joni Kruder is back from injury and back and putting his stamp on this competition as well. And obviously, Janja Gambra from the earlier qualification is absolutely on form. It's going to be a very exciting final we've got ahead of us as the final buzzer goes there, and that's the viewing is over now.
So, guys, like I said before, we're hoping it gets fixed during the final round. There is no live scoring, which means we don't have start lists. We have nothing. So just to give you guys a rundown, if you're unfamiliar with some of those names on the mats. Women competition, 6th place, Jessie Peels. 5th place, Mia Krempel. Then it's Lucia Tarkush, who's going to be a bit of a new name from the Slovenian setup, coming out 3rd. Lučka Rakovic, the European lead champion, coming out 4th. And 5th is Chloe Collier. And then last out, 1st from the qualifying position, is none other than Janja Gambra, of course.
That's it. And in the men's, we've got Yannick Flöe, Jan-Luca Posch in 2nd place, and Sergei Topishko coming out in 3rd. He was 2nd at this event last year. Gregor Vazonik, Joni Kruder back from injury, and top of the tree is Vadim Timonov.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about Vadim Timonov earlier when we previewed these boulders. It has to say that this style, super physical, really burly, potentially could suit his style. He's had just, check him out on social media. It's phenomenal, really. His winter bouldering season outdoors, just like you said, 8 Cs back to back. He's definitely coming in on form. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, he's certainly coming in on form. He's climbing very, very well, and not only has he been climbing outdoors, I mean, at the same time, he's also been doing quite a lot inside as well. So it's not like he's just been focused on the outdoor climbing. He's managed to switch it up and stay obviously super fit and super strong. And it just goes to show with his performance, not only in the qualification event, which is a little bit more climbing-y style orientated, lots of boulders to climb. It's shone in the semi-final, looks super strong and absolutely on form. And let's just see what he's going to do in the final.
And Chloe Collier, we said earlier, we got some information during the semi-final stream that Chloe had managed to injure her boulder, her bicep, I think it was, during the 3rd boulder, still came out for the 4th one anyway and did really well on it. So she felt a bit of a noise, bit of a pop, bit of a, something that's kind of a bit of a worst nightmare really for any competitor or any recreational climber. She's got to be careful out there, though, realistically. Yeah,
I was part of the conversation with the Slovenian physio, and he basically gave her the sign off, the nod that he does feel that it is nothing major, and he's done some massage on it and treated it a little bit, and he'll have taped it accordingly. And probably also, I'm sure, said the same thing. You've got to go out there and have a go, but also be very, very aware of how it feels, how it's performing, and be prepared to make the call to step out of the game, basically.
Yeah, and semi-final, it was the Janja show ultimately in the end. We had high hopes for Oriane Bertone, the 14-year-old French athlete. She was looking really good going in from the qualification round. But ultimately, Janja, the only climber to top boulder number 3. We had this again in the semi-finals last year where quite a lot of the athletes were struggling, and then she came out and just showed the absolute dominant force that she is. I mean,
that final boulder was absolutely brutal as well. I mean, there's quite a few people that got to those crimps after that really hard release, that toe up and the release. They got to those crimps and were just shut down on them. They could pull on them to a point, but just couldn't quite get the height to go to the next crimp. And looking at Janja's face afterwards and the way she was shaking the fingers out a little bit, I mean, they were small and they were really hard to pull on.
Well, here we go then, guys. Boulder observations complete. Everyone's back into isolation. Our first climbers are coming out. Jesse Pills and Yannick Fleury. Really, really looking forward to this pre-IFSC season World Cup style events. Absolutely stacked field. Yannick Fleury has just had an incredible 2019. Of course, Jesse Pills is, well, she's just been a dominant force in lead and boulder now for a little bit.
Yeah, the young Yannick's been climbing very, very well. Only 20 years old, obviously. Hails from Germany, so he'll be very popular with this crowd.
Yannick goes quickly for the 1, 2, 3. First attempts are in the bag for both guys. Looks like we've got a dynamic start in both of the competitions, men's and women's. This left-hand side of the studio block wall, if you guys caught the 2019 men's semi-finals, all sorts of heartbreakers in there, in that corner. It's caused some trouble over the years, and there was the Janja boulder in the finals there last year. I think it was it boulder number 4?
Yeah.
She did a classic Janja move. There's plenty of those videos out there on the internet if you want to go and watch them. But back to Jessie Pills. Oh, does a nice little rollover in there, just a little 1-2. But quite happy with it in the end. Really slowed it down, but let's see what she's got up against her on the top of this boulder. Managed to go all the way back down and round onto the right-hand side. It looks like a pretty horrendous mantle to finish. Well, Yannick tried to go from hold 1 to hold 3 there on the jump as well.
A little bit too violent maybe for that method, but Jessie still on board. Mantling up on the zone. I think it needs to be this left foot. She doesn't look like she can quite span to the finishing hold.
Oh, yes, that's an incredible save from Jessie Pills there. That was all or nothing on that final attempt. Just as the left foot creeped up, he just about saved it. The double Gastons to finish. Top in 2 attempts, zone in 2 attempts.
Yannick just asking for a quick brush.
See there, the green box flashes up. Yeah, Jessie Pills shoots straight to the top of the leaderboard. So only one climber to go. That's as you would expect.
It looks like we do have some scores back on the screen. Let's hope it stays this way. That was a 1-2 from Yannick, straight onto the zone.
Yeah, doubled onto the zone as well. Thinking outside the box a little bit here, just testing the route setters' minds a little bit, exploring all the options. It's not over though. A huge press into this corner to finish. Really physical, brutal shoulder move. A little bit tricky to see from that angle. Maybe we can just bring it from the other side. It's a big push up into it. That's the nice finish there from Yannick Flo. Gets it done. He's up for this one.
Yeah, that was a really cool thing to witness there, working out that top move. How it worked for him was, in the end, the swing, the kick, the land, the go into the press, into the shoulder press, and that was a strong top for Yannick in the end.
Yeah, Yannick missing out on the chance to go to the Olympics this year with those 2 German spots taken by Alex Megos and Jan Hoyer. He'll be focusing just on the season itself. Mia Krampel joins us now in the women's, Jan-Luca Posch in the men's.
Yeah, Jan-Luca Posch from Austria.
Yeah, Mia's gone from 18th all the way through into this final, so came out in the qualifiers in 18th, had a fantastic semi-final round. You would expect her to improve on that position, start the semis, and she certainly did that, so she's obviously on form. One of 4 Slovenians in this final in the women's. Easy.
So 6 in total. 6 in total for the finals. Insane.
Yeah, the coaches have got their work cut out. Keeping an eye on 6 different climbers. So Mia Krampel, you see quite a bit of tape there on the left fingers. Not too surprising. That's pretty much common throughout these top-end competitions these days. So much skin being lost, especially in this qualification round here at the Studio Bloc Masters. And you find this push. Looks like a pretty horrendous push into the corner.
Yannick on board the zone.
It's an interesting leg position there from Jan-Luca Posch. Gets it done though. I don't think we have a bit of terminology for that sort of leg position, to be honest.
I've no idea what he was doing there with his legs, but whatever it was, it worked.
If in
Good
doubt,
strong
get him on
top.
board.
Yeah, try and keep some body parts in contact with the wall. It always helps. Mia back on board. You can just see, for those with the keen eyes, you've got those blockers in between the two triangles. I think the route setters just at the last minute were a bit worried that you could go down and cheat it, maybe put the foot in it, finger lock, something like that. But anyone wanted to force this move.
Never come out again, I think.
Yeah, Tom Randall style.
So there's a little bit of a coordination jump out of this corner. She's really well on her first effort, but now it's taking a couple of goes just to try and repeat it. It's like a little spin out the corner.
Yeah, so when she did it before, she did it super easy, and now it's just like every coordination move. You can't fight through a coordination move. It is just...
See the way she's holding her finger there on the left hand. I think that's blood sport already, unfortunately. It's actually on the right hand. Not good. Definitely don't want to be taping up mid boulder. We do see it quite a bit though. Just licks her finger, gets the chalk off, so she's got something to stick the tape to. Well, the Slovenians were using this yellow tape yesterday. I saw a few of them going in for it. Must be some special.
It will be.
Special secret knowledge tape.
They'll have a secret up the sleeve, won't they? Yeah, it is the nature of the beast, not only with the modern style holds, but just the size of an event like this, where you're climbing at least a minimum of 20 boulders in qualification, probably more. And then you do the semi-final, and then you're out on the final. Well, she's back on anyway. That's better this time.
Yeah, pretty fierce pounce across that time. Really kind of gave it the overpower jump out of the corner, which was a definite success. See how low she is. She's got to use the two same hand and foot holds and go from there all the way to the top of the wall. Right foot position is going to be absolutely crucial, because that's what's stopping her pushing her weight over to the right hand side. Can she just jimmy that right foot along a bit, or does she need it? Looks like she's pushing it out from there. Trying to wobble off at this point here. This is where we saw Jessie Pills just pounce for that finish hold as soon as that left foot touches. She's running out of time. It's not going to be for Mia Krampel. Bit of a surprise there.
Yeah, I think maybe with a little bit more time on the clock, she would have possibly done that top move and not suddenly decided to rush for the last minute. But yeah, she'll be a little bit disappointed with that, I think, in the end.
I do wonder how much the tape is getting her down a bit there. Tape's now coming back off. Have to try and rebuild backstage. Can't grow skin that quickly though, unfortunately. Sergej Depishko comes out now. And the young Slovenian is 16 years old. Lucia Tarkush. Have a new face around here, but
yeah,
and
yet another,
really.
yeah, another Slovenian making it through to an international final.
Maybe we shouldn't be surprised.
No.
If you've got Slovenian in your passport, you just seem to make finals.
Normal, yeah.
Sergej Depishko, then one of the probably the tallest athlete in the field from semi-finals and finals. See how he makes this jump. Oh, easy.
Very, very easily. Even stopped midway in the triple. But easy into that top press as well. Also, you know, he is tall, yes, but he is also pretty darn strong as well. He crushed that shoulder press on the last move.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, being tall is one thing, but you've got to have the minerals to go with it.
Absolutely.
Oh, that was nice. Good save there. Lucia.
She looks like she's got good skin. She's got no tape on her fingers at the moment, so that's definitely bodes well. But this press that is about to occur is pretty brutal from what we've seen. Flip this left arm over, get the elbow up. Nicely done there.
She looks solid through that section. This is the moment then. Just got to kind of lean out into the overhanging wall. Oh, easy. Easiest attempt on that final move so far. Super impressive. That could be a name to watch out for in the 2020 season. That was Lucia Tarkash from Slovenia. Another crush. It's amazing. Where do they keep bringing these climbers from?
But it's the national sport. It's just it's the norm in Slovenia. This is what you do. You get born, you climb for a few years on some like baby holds, and then you get brought to the Slovenian team. The whole country's in the team, you know.
Gregor's not brought his pillow with him. That's disappointing.
Yeah.
Lučka Rakovic then and Gregor Vozonik, two Slovenians going side by side on this one. They're going to have known that tops have gone down pretty quickly here, so the pressure really starts to mount. Time backstage was really limited between one person going out and then it's your turn next.
Let's go for both climbers there.
Yeah, Lučka.
Oh, great start.
Not quite finding the right method, going to the first hold with a right hand, needs to pedal all the way through. Gregor trying to go 1, 2, 3. That's better. Which looks so composed. Lučka on the wall. Barely even looks like she's trying most of the time. Fiercely strong. Not just good on the boulders though. Just as she slips off there. European lead champion, took that title in RAFO. Back at the end of 2019, Gregor
that was great from Gregor.
Really had to dig in on that jump.
Certainly no slouch with his win in Munich 2018. We know that he's got the beans.
Fierce move on that jump into the finish hole shoulder. Yeah, he felt that. Just as he jumped into that, walks away wincing, holding his right shoulder a little bit. It's going to be all eyes on Lučka now. That's nicely done this time, really got that rotation down at the start.
Yeah, very smooth through that. Now it's all about this press though, dropping down. Positioning that right foot in the correct place, and then this brutal flip of the left shoulder and elbow around and above.
Really feel like Lučka is out to prove herself this year. That emotional battle that she had with Mia Krampel for that second Slovenian Olympic spot did end up going to Mia in the end, so you feel like she's got absolutely going to be gunning for this 2020 season. Can she push it out now? Can't reach the finish hold with her right hand from that position, so does have to get the left foot up to establish a balance point that she can lean into the finish hold. Now she does. Superb, cool, calm, controlled. That is the style of Lučka. Absolutely awesome performance once again. Both bowlers doing a pretty good job here, racking up a few attempts, but ultimately it's getting done.
Yeah, and great performance again by Lučka. Very smooth on the top section. Didn't really need to turn that right foot and drop the right knee to get the left on. Plenty of flexibility in the bank. Now, big man himself, Jörni Kruder. Always a crusher coming back from injury. He's not 100%. I was chatting to him earlier on about the break in his arm, and he's still got pins and a couple of bars holding it together, but...
Is that not cheating?
Well, his weight's up because of it. You know, he's got another kilo and a half in his left arm, so give it a few months and it'll be super strong, that arm. Carrying an added weight round. I'm a little bit worried about Chloe on this press move out in the zone. I mean, there's going to be a lot of force to go through that left arm, and that's the one you can see that she's got the taping on. It's strapped up. We shall see how it goes for Chloe.
It's not her first rodeo, though. She's going to know her body better than anybody else, so she won't risk a World Cup season. You wouldn't have thought, as Jörni sticks the jump first time. He's got to pounce it now, or is he going to try and press it? It's really hard to read this last move from the ground. Oh, that's horrendous, that last move on the shoulder. Jörni pushes into it for the flash, though.
Yeah.
Attempts on that taking not much more than 40 seconds.
Jörni definitely looking strong and, as ever, psyched out of his mind. He absolutely loves being in places like this. first close look at Chloe on her block number 1. It's a little spin, quite nice, cool move out the corner.
Just tried to go for the double to that second hold, slightly over-rotated. This move almost, it looks harder than it actually is, I think, by watching people on the wall. It seems like when they just dial it back a little bit and just try and float through that earlier section, it seems a little bit easier than possibly giving it the full can of beans off the starting position.
Yeah, I think as with any of these dynamic movements, it's quite hard to judge the amount of oomph you need to give it. Sometimes they're a little bit slower, a little bit faster. It's quite hard to judge. That was steady that time, went for the right hand, left hand up to it, no problem. Now this is probably going to be the move coming up that is really going to challenge that left arm. You can see the heavy strapping she's got on there at the moment, so getting that elbow up and that arm straight locked out, showing her strength there very much, easily through it. And she needs to get that left foot on, find the balance.
Just looking for something out of the arete there, just to help with the balance point. Doesn't need it in the end. A little double tap on the final hold. Nothing really to grab up there, just control by placing 2 hands over the top of the hold.
Yeah,
rattling through this first boulder really here. Top's coming thick and fast, just one rotation of climbers still to come.
Hopefully she'll be quite happy with that performance then. Getting the top on the first boulder and still walking away, being able to climb again. Always good. Here we go with the top qualifier, Vadim Timonov. First out.
Andy Garnbrett joins Vadim. Let's see what she makes of this groove. Jump out the groove to start. Only climber to top all 4 boulders in the semi-final, Janja. Just speaking to Eddie actually from the circuit, saying that she was really annoyed that she didn't flash the boulder that she was the only person to do. Such is the spirit of Janja. She's just absolutely tearing herself to shreds that she didn't do it first time. Does that move first time though. Vadim going for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that first attempt. A technical little push section on this boulder. So much pressure on Janja's shoulders every time she comes out. Everybody just expects her just to cruise everything, and she does have to fight. The root setters are making her work here.
Oh. Quick look down at the foot, and I think she was probably thinking in her own mind, have I got that foot high enough? And then went to do the move, and the foot shot off.
It's almost a gasp of disbelief every time Janja falls off. She is human after all.
Vadim going for the 1, 2, 3, 4. Trying to use every volume. We've seen a lot of variations on this jump. It's quite a cool little boulder, really. It's not just the same sequence that's working for everybody on it, even though it is a jump.
Actual physical distance from the start holds to that big boss hold, the zone hold, is miles, and Vadim sticks it. It's so impressive. You do get an opportunity to come to an event like this, just to see the route setting, see what these top-end athletes are capable of. So you're going to try and mount it up as Janja sticks the jump just in the background there again. And Timonov just trying to decide what to do at the end. Goes to the quick pounce into the shoulder. Nicely done. That was a cool last move. Really physical on the body.
Yeah, we've seen that finish a couple of times in that round. That's a nice way to do it. Dynamic hop onto the right foot and up into the shoulder press. Definitely stern, but we're back now with Janja. She's managed to get the left foot up and steady onto the finish hold, and that'll be a top for Janja in 2 attempts.
Just holding the hip as she walks off there.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'd definitely be holding my hip. I've had to put my foot in those positions. I think I'd need a pair of crutches to get off the mat.
Body on the line there a little bit there. Janja scrapes up the forearm, bit of a sore hip. tricky little position. Sometimes quite difficult to warm up for that thing in the isolation zones. Isolation zones tend to be quite sort of one-dimensional, two-dimensional.
Yeah,
just really flat boards.
Tends to be pulling as opposed to pushing and twisting, and the force that's going down the spine when you're pressing on these things and twisting on those feet, it's absolutely immense. And you can see Janja holding a hip a little bit and then poking her back. It's definitely a hard manoeuvre to warm up for.
Competition moves on straight away. Yannick Floey brought out the little battery fan there. You don't see it in that shot. You'll see him when he walks out. He's just got a little yellow fan with him.
Thought it was a shower head.
It did look like a shower head, or a hairbrush. It's not a hairbrush.
Might double as both, you never know. Boulder 2 then. Jessie Pilz, right of that fantastic banner that we'll see the podium in front of. Jessie the first on the wall. This little jump into the shoulders. Didn't seem to quite land that right hand. On the inside of those two squadra volumes, there's a left and a right. On the right hand one, jumping into the shoulders off that left foot. Didn't quite seem to make contact with it. Here we go on men's number 2 as well. Jump into the toe hook start. Pretty impressive move out in the shoulders. Very similar style boulders for the men's and ladies. Jessie makes the jump into the shoulders there. This is where the toe hook is, out on the right.
Really tricky match now. Or is she just going to go again using the toe hook? That does look like a more sensible option because the match is just just a couple of fingers on there, really, not really a matchable hold, just the shoulders going through so much there. Just about see us in the commentary position there, enjoying the action.
I'm trying to stretch my neck out, pushing a foot closer to the toe up, but it's not working. Back with Yannick. He's made it through this first move. That'll be the zone for him. Now it seems to be
spectacular move now.
That's one way to do it. Jump over the top, and now one more big move to the top now. You can see we've not even got the finishing note in the screen yet. There we go, just seeing it now.
Oh, what power. Power.
Great work there.
Yeah, really quick climber, really dynamic, great movement. Yannick Floey showing true class there.
Youngest climber in this male final, 20 years old. Good showing. All eyes now on Jessica Pilz. I think she's done amazingly in the last few years to really start performing at high end in the bouldering. She's generally known as a lead climber, but she really shows her strength on the boulders too.
Interesting, that time she just tried to go straight into the right heel rather than toe into heel. That looks horrendous, that swinging on those double Gastons. Really winging in the shoulders and the elbows.
Certainly like that move, that jump into double shoulder press.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Classic bit of movement. Not only does it require accuracy, but power off of that bad foothold on top of that dual texture volume. Some serious gunnage in the shoulders as well.
Well, a last go for her, 1 minute left. Latched it this time. Trying to get the adjustment, get those crimps down, out into the toe hook again this time. That was the first method.
Sort of almost a foot wrap there rather than a toe hook. Now she's got a pounce for that next hold. Oh, just
so close.
Goes all around it. Jessie will have another go here. Occasionally that move's called the elevator doors. That sort of double Gastons, if you can imagine. In case of an emergency, elevator's stuck closed, you've got to give it force it open with your hands. Trying to open the elevator doors here, Jessie Pilz.
Cleanly onto the holds this time. Will she hit this toe up? Come on. Much faster now.
Hits it with only 5 seconds remaining though, so it's going to be close. Does bail out. Has put so much effort through that boulder, getting to that awkward toe hook, heel hook method. Shake of the head, though, unfortunately for Jessie, walks away with no top.
But she did get the zone on that last attempt. So that was a definite bonus.
I like it.
The zone was a definite bonus.
Yeah.
Do you like that?
I like that, yeah.
Bit of old school, new school terminology mixed.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
It's been so hard to stop using the word bonus. It's been around forever, and all of a sudden...
Don't start with it now.
We're trying to... no, just filtering that into our minds is going to cause us all sorts of trouble.
Yeah, no,
for the rest of
sorry.
the stream.
Apologies.
Mia Krampel now. Let's see what she can do on women's number 2. Jan-Luca Posch, after doing so well, 2 attempts just for him on boulder number 1.
Yeah, we haven't seen the move after the first move yet on the men's boulder. We did miss that on the live feed a minute ago.
Yeah, Jan-Luca, just a bit of a wasted attempt, trying to establish into the starting position, realising straight away that he can't span it with his arms, has to sort of do that almost flick and toe hook with the right foot into that furthest right cone.
Yeah, it's a really long way apart, those two starting cones. We did try that when we went out and observed the boulders ourselves, and it's absolutely miles apart. So it does start with this toe, and then you have to reach the next green line there.
Yeah,
that is
nice
the start position.
Does work. There's a lower foothold there underneath the cone as well. I feel like he wants to bring the foot up, but Mia Krampel's absolutely in crush mode here. Using that toe hook. Interestingly, that ginormous circular section of wall is an infill volume. There's no texture on that. So you can see them skittering around with their left foot. Left foot smear on the wall is not really giving you much. Walking away, holding shoulders again. These days, guys, in these competitions, just the shoulders just seem to take an absolute hammering.
Yeah, it's super physical. All these big, wide moves, especially when the dynamic moves. This sort of move on the men's now, this jump into the shoulder press.
Uses the left foot volume this time, still travelling a bit too fast.
Yeah, we're still yet to see the method that has already been used by Yannick on this boulder. Didn't quite catch that on the live feed.
Just fumbles the elevator doors that time, Mia.
Always hard when you're trying to catch these two holds and this just slightly beyond the periphery of vision.
Yeah, you don't know. Do you look at the left hand or the right hand? Big rip off that left hand crimp. And Luca Posch, just as he's releasing the toe hook, he's really firing across to the left. Mia Krampel sticks the jump. Horrendous position. That right hand is actually slotted crimp as well. It wasn't hard enough to jump to a crimp already. Really nice use of the left toe hook as well to establish the right toe hook. Just wiggling that right toe to hit on the sweet spot. Looks like she's going to try and match. The root setters have put a blocker on there to try and avoid that. Such as the tenacity of Mia Krampel.
That's quite impressive. She's able to keep that left foot low also.
Flexibility really working in her favour there.
Oh, and there's the slip off that dual text volume. Not too sure that's the method that the root setters have set, but it seems to work for Mia.
Mia Krampel definitely not 100% happy with her right shoulder there. Definitely working the shoulders quite a bit, this boulder. She keeps kind of coming off, holding it, stretching it, doing a few rotations and arm swings.
The nature of the beast, this is the final. There's been a lot of boulders, a lot of hard boulders climbed already, so yeah, those shoulders are going to be tired. Smoothly through the jump. Jan-Luca still not getting the measure of that second move on the men's boulder number 2.
Looks like she's going to work the crimp match again.
This is better.
Nicely done. 10 seconds now. Time shouldn't be too much of an issue. Yes, for Mia Krampel, that was really well deserved. Big battle went in there. Really unhappy with her shoulder all the way through that, but kept it together. Like I said, this is the final. Go all or nothing. She's going to the Olympics though, so you don't want an injury at this stage in the season, that's for sure.
Yeah, this would be a bad time to pick up an injury. It's always a bad time to pick up an injury, obviously, but this year is a very, very big year for climbing, as we all know. And obviously very big for Mia, who is going to the Olympics in Tokyo.
Next two climbers, Lucia Targash and Sergei Tepishko. Lucia was absolutely awesome on the first boulder. Relatively inexperienced in many ways, but didn't really show that on the first boulder at all. See how Sergei Tepishko gets into this little jump move. Does opt to bring the left foot up. It's a much smaller release for him, but it's 2 shoulders for the men, 2 for the women.
I think that hurts his skin, actually.
I felt that, yeah. That burns.
That was really painful.
Lucia just not quite finding the height at the moment into the 2 Gastons jumping up there.
Here we go again. That was close. So there you are. Like say, Mike, that right hand hold that she's jumping to is actually blocked. It's a little slot. So it's really hard to hit.
Second method coming here. Looks like Sergei Tepishko is going to go for the inverted knee bar. Looks like you're going to continue to go feet first here. That's nice, a really good method. You were saying earlier, Gaz, that could have been a potential method.
Looked like a solid way to do it. Just the big move now at the top, that big left-hand wrap over this time.
Oh, a little bit of wheel spin there for Sergei. What methods are going to try this time? It looks like going to go try kind of more conventional mantle method. Solid in the triceps so far, pushing this one out. It's got to release one hand to grab the top hold. Nicely done with a bit of a left forearm. Sergei Tepishko does seem to go really well at this competition, made the podium last year.
That's a good effort. A couple of new methods there. Men's boulder number 2. He's definitely putting in a very strong performance in this final already. Back with the only climber now out on the mats, Lucia, the young Slovenian. Great to see another new face in such a great international lineup as this. A bit hard to brush that right-hand slot, I can imagine, with a massive, huge brush. But still struggling on the distance anyway.
Just brush all around it and never actually get into the important bit.
Yeah, at the moment it looks like she is going too fast. She's having to go fast to make the distance. Then a bit too fast and aggressive to catch the holds and hold the shoulder press.
Saw with Jessie and Famir, they jumped quite powerfully into that position, but they tried to jump with bent arms. So they're landing it a little bit with a bent arm. That really helps to hold that sort of position. Any jump, really, you want to be landing bent arms rather than straight arms. And has have a bit of a bend in the left arm, especially that time for Lucia Targash. Now, can she have the body tension to swing that leg out? Looks like she's dragging that right hand crimp, front 3 fingers, little fingers dropped off. Battle mode commences here.
So hard to get hold of that toe hook.
Toe doesn't want to drop out. Such an effort to get it in there in the first place. 20 seconds now. I think she is going to walk away from that one, and she does. Three climbers still to come on the second boulders then.
From one Slovenian to a pair of Slovenians, Lučka Rakovic and Gregor Vazonik. Gregor first out on the mats. He goes all the way to the cone boulder. See what Gregor makes of this. Luchka first to pull on. You can see close in there, that foothold on the volume. Doesn't look too great. There we go.
Sort of a classic jumping position, that.
And that looked like she favoured that right hand into the slot a little bit and missed the left hand completely. Like we said before, it's very hard to see two things at once that are slightly outside your peripheral vision.
Gregor that time just sizing up the right toe release. Didn't bring his left foot up to that sort of flat volume underneath the starting cone.
Luchka catches it this time, zings out of that right hand, but that burnt again as well on her skin. Gregor.
This time brings the left foot up. Hopefully he'll be able to use that just to slow this move down a little bit. Bit of a hand swap, interesting. Not sure what he's thinking here. Got himself a bit stuck.
Oops, I think I'll get off.
Climbed himself into a bit of a hole there. And the judge is pointing out blood on the knee, I think that is. He'll probably just pack some chalk into there. Not allowed to bleed. What do you call it? Actively bleeding on the wall as such. The judges can't allow that.
For obvious reasons. Something he might have to deal with. He'll just pull his shorts down over the kneecap for now, by the looks of it.
Show it, yeah. Luchka sticks to jump again.
This toe looks really hard to get out there. Totally blind for a start. Hard to find the distance.
It's a move to get into the starting position here in the men's second boulder. There's the big jump. Super fierce starting moves on boulders 2 for the men and the women. There's the blood again. Just wiping it on his hands.
Sure, the judges will be keeping a close eye on Gregor's knee.
Yeah, ultimately, if you're bleeding, it's usually at the fingertips, and the idea of not letting that happen is to stop at slight disadvantage if you sort of effectively create moisture on the hold. Obviously, there's hygiene reasons there as well.
Luchka back on, back into that familiar position, dangling off 2 very bad holds and shoulder presses.
Oh, it's a horrendous position. It's hard to watch this boulder, really.
That was good this time with the feet, went into the first toe hook, matched it, and then into the further toe hook.
Just wraps those into full crimps now that she's got a bit of weight on that lower left leg. Really trying to establish that right foot. Super powerful left shoulder move here. Got a working combination with the 2 feet. She's not completely happy with that toe hook. It's definitely not as good as you want around the corner there. Hanging on to those crimps for quite a while now.
That was a good little training session in the middle of the comp, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little fingerboard session.
Yeah, good 20 seconds hanging on a really bad pair of crimps.
Gregor not being able to slow down this release at all at the moment. Full stretch with the right toe hook, the big release. He's walking away with 30 seconds left. He's not too impressed with that boulder at all. He's going to have to go back and get his game face back on for the 3rd and 4th boulders. It was all smiles at the start of the competition, but it's certainly got real now. Slovenian pair struggling here. Luchka's walking away as well. The competition's just become wide open all of a sudden.
Well, certainly a hard set of boulders. Couple of tops on that second boulder already, but then Gregor suddenly got a check with reality. Is unable to make that move. We shall see what Jörni Kruder makes of it. He's walking out with the knee pad.
Yeah, I was just about to say, spotted the knee pad there. He's obviously got his eyes on something. A technique that he spotted. Did see the knee bar earlier from Sergei Topishko.
We've seen it used a few times in the past already as well. We've seen Adam Ondra touting the knee pad in a few events, boulder and lead.
Yeah, currently no rules against that. Currently. So Jörni does the move to get into the start. Chloe does the jump. There's the big release.
That is brutal, jumping into that shoulder.
Super cool move. Earlier tops on this boulder looking more and more impressive from Yannick Floe, the German, Sergei Topishko from Ukraine. Hopefully we can just switch to Chloe. There we can, she has stuck that first move.
It's such a battle to get this toe settled on the right-hand side, but seems pretty comfortable with that. Solid into the zone. This is a good effort from Chloe.
Maybe got to bring the left foot up.
Yeah, work that foot out, get the shoulder press going, roll over.
Really
From what we saw before, this should,
Chloe,
in theory, be in the bag. Come on, Chloe.
Got a big fight on her hands all of a sudden here. Looks a little bit short on that last move. Full stretch, eyes closed, Gurn for the final hold. Superb, Chloe Curley, what a performance.
That was amazing climbing. Just holds her arm a little bit there. That will have taken its toll, I'm sure.
Yeah, big wince, pain on her face as she comes down holding her arm.
One focus now, Joni Kruder. Super close to holding that press then. Jump into the double shoulders. The ladies go straight up into the two shoulder presses. The men go sideways. Good close up there, the hold.
Yeah, you can see
he's
what they're
jumping to.
It's almost in cut, but you're flying at full pace towards it.
From a position where your foot was 10 feet away in the opposite direction.
What's that in meters? Come on, we're in Europe. Brexit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Some distance.
16. Is that right?
Sure, yeah.
No.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that was better from Joni. Managed to maintain contact with that left foot. Straight onto the toe up, and he's located the zone. This is where his knee pad would have come in useful, but he's left it on the mat.
Looks like it doesn't drop into a full knee bar. Super 3D bit of climbing here from Joni. Big wrist wrap on the right hand, easily across in the end. Seen both guys who got to this position find the top. Can Joni Kruder follow? Going to go for the dynamic pounce to the top, gets it down. First time he sticks to the second move, does the boulder. Crazy Kruder puts on a show as always. Had to fight for it though.
This is really exciting from the performance that Joni's putting in. He's obviously come back with a vengeance. He is cooking on gas.
Final pair waiting in the wings there. The edge of the curtain. Final pair, it's going to be another Vadim Timonov and Yanya. Both top the first boulders. 5 attempts it was in the end for Vadim. Second attempt for Yanya. No doubt she'll be devastated she fell off on the first boulder.
Yeah, she'll have had a quick fingerboard session in the back room. Let's see what she makes of this.
Timonov sort of goes for the full chop into the starting right toe hook. Yanya sticks the move first time, really reels in those crimps, just adjusting the right hand a little bit. So she's much higher than some of the other female athletes in that position straight away, really pulling up into it. Not an easy move though. And it falls off again. It's really great to see her properly tested here. Left foot position does seem to be quite crucial.
It was quite impressive how when Joni did the move, he managed to maintain contact on that left foot.
Yeah, I do wonder if he was sort of jamming his toe in the
I
underside
think he
of
was,
between
yeah.
those two volumes a little bit. Might just give him just enough to keep full contact with the left foot.
A little twist on the foot. Okay, a bit of a finger lock style.
Yeah, so between that left hand that he's got and that volume, just twisting the toe right into the back of the volume and trying to get a little bit of a lock. Vadim Timonov's just trying to search for something else, as we saw with Gregor Vazonik. Whoa, the dynamic chop with the left foot, that was pretty impressive. It's be impressive if he can get out of here. Goes for the cross. This guy's got crimp power
Wow,
for days.
this is brutal. Amazing performance here from Vadim, doing that cross through there, onto the zone.
Yanya's back to action, left and right here at the moment. Everyone being treated with Two incredible boulders here at the Studio Bloc Masters final. This time can Janja hit the shoulder? She does, as Vadim Timonov is trying to push it out for the finish. Looks like Janja's figured out what she needs to do with the left foot as well. Both climbers really high up on the wall. Just the last moves left to do for both of them. All climbers who got to this position top the boulders. Let's see if these guys can follow. Looks like Janja's got it in the bag. Nice little top for her. Second go again. 2 tops in 4 attempts for her, and Vadim Timonov does get it sorted with a completely new method. That was awesome. Bit of climbing and a really good show there on the second boulders. Thoroughly
Took him a while there, Vadim, to work his own personal method, but yeah, the high wrap on that volume and kick the foot out onto the opposite volume did work a treat. Not too sure if the route setters imagined that way.
Yeah, it worked though.
Yep. It's a good solution.
Good to see the results. There we go. Sergei Topishko's at the top at the moment. It comes down to attempts. 2 tops and 2 zones. 3 attempts for those tops. And Jerne just behind with 5 attempts. Vadim Timonov, 8 attempts. And it's Jannik, Flöe, Jan-Luca Posch and Gregor Vazonik down at the bottom at the moment. Janja, 2 tops in 4 attempts. Chloe Collier, 2 tops in 6. She's still really in this one. And then the next 4 all with 1 top.
Yeah, strong showing by Chloe, obviously. Doing it very well. Let's hope she can maintain the pace. Give Janja a little run for her money. Just a little pause as we're getting ready to bring out the competitors for this third boulder. We are halfway through this Studio Bloc Masters 2020 here in Germany. Myself, Gaz Parry, and Mike Langley on the microphones.
Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves at home watching this. Absolutely spectacularly well-organised event here again at the Studio Bloc Masters. Jessie coming out, she's either just holding, oh no, she's just holding a chalk bag. She was coming out like she was walking out with an injury. It was a bit of a surprise. Just holding the chalk bag closed as she trotted across the mat. Let's see if this start position works then on women's number 3. We are onto the far right-hand side here, so it's a pair of slabs next.
Jannik failed to pull on the first go there. It just shows how hard and simple this right-hand boulder is. There's not many holds on it, but that is one pretty bad sloper to jump into.
All sorts of little jibs and screw-ons here in the women's competition. A whole selection of different things that you could use. And that looks like the palm down arete roll over there in the men's competition. Right hand down, left hand rolling over to the arete. Let's see if that is the method that seems to be established. There was a big pile of chalk on that far right hand volume. We talked about that in the boulder observation. Hard one to read, even though it's so simple here on men's number 3. Women's is massively complicated and equally difficult to read.
This is a good shot for this men's boulder number 3. Jannik going a little bit slower this time.
Where's the big palm down rotator?
Yeah, that black sloper that you're palming down on is quite a long way in off the arete, so there is going to be a big rotation there. Jessica back on her boulder number 3 though. She's got to this point already. Been through this move and got to the white volume above her head. Left foot needs to go out. Another small jib coming up. Looking at it there, but goes into the palm.
Just a tiny little foot slip down the volume there for Jessie Peel's lost contact.
Jannik back on again.
Push too hard around that arete, you end up out the fire exit just behind him.
Yeah, at least the door's open.
Won't clatter into the door, that's for sure. You just end up in the plant pots out.
It's a really nice little sitting spot out there, a little patio and some deck chairs. So, you know, maybe that's where he's heading. Who knows?
Certainly might ruin your day if you come flying off around that arete, to say the least. Big slip from Jessie Peel's, a bit of a painful slide down the wall there.
See a big stripe of rubber on that volume that she's just brushing off now. Jannik again.
Oh, this time nails it.
That's better. He managed to maintain contact with the volume and the foot. Classic basic arete climbing at this point. But then another terrible looking black volume with the zone on to head back to the top.
How bad that sloper is.
There's not a right lot there, is there? Not a right lot where his feet were either.
Jesse Pills really pushing on the underside of this volume now, putting in a great battle here. Jesse gets stood up. It's a pretty bad left foot. It's quite a big square screw on, but it's just got a small rib on it.
That little edge, pinchy, crimpy rib from Blue Pill, isn't it?
Full span between the right-hand white volume and this big triangle here for Jesse. Going to find the foot position. It's going to work into another pressed undercuts finish. Pretty much all weight on the left foot. Big heartbreaker down the volume there. Conditions on the bottom of the shoe seem to be vital on this boulder. So much chalk on the mats.
Yannick's on for probably his last go. Too quick then. Into the arete. Yeah, he picks up his stuff and he exits the building. Jessica, meanwhile, back on. She has the last go, 10 seconds on the clock. She progresses. Nope. That's her attempt on boulder number 3 over.
Frustrating for Jessie Pills there. Got really high on the boulder, had the final hold in her crosshairs and just a big foot slip down the volume.
Certainly 2 hard boulders there by the looks of it, Mike. Jessie Pills struggling in numerous places on that boulder. It looks like it can fall off at any point on that boulder for the ladies. And Yannick finally getting out into the arete and locating the zone, but unable to make any progress after that to the top. Those volumes do look bad on that men's boulder.
Jan-Luc Bosch just sprinting onto the mats at the end. Ultimately has to wait. You can see the 4-minute clock at the time was that the climbers have got to climb each of these boulders, just off to the side there. Crowd can see that as well, so we've had some pretty tense moments right up to the buzzer so far.
I mean, the interesting thing for me again is yet again, the climbers are coming out and trying to climb on these volumes with essentially dirty shoes. Don't quite get it.
It's a polite way of putting it. Saw Jessie's feet slip a number of times. That's nicely done from Mirko. I'm trying to use the top of that volume with her right hand. We saw Jessie just using the underside.
Jan-Luca looking a bit too fast on that first movement. We've seen it done in the end. Quite a few goes, but it was quite a slow movement in the end. But Mia making very fast progress now on this, actually. She's done well to get to this zone quite quickly.
See Jan-Luc Bosch just crimping the underside of that, or the top side of that volume, I should say, around the back of the volume. Actually crimping the outer edge rather than the feature itself.
That's a bad edge on that volume as well. It's not.
It's fingernails.
It's chamfered as well.
Just dig the nails down the back of it and hope they don't rip off.
It's one way to make your nails go short, isn't it? Well, Mia made very good progress on that attempt, but then seemed to rush it at the last moment. Here we go again. Mia is back on the boulder. Oof, another zing by the foot there. Just trying to load that really bad left foot, get off the brush. Gives them a quick clean.
It's a bit of an old school slab in many ways, this women's one, with lots of little jibs and footholds. Classic bit of bad feet.
I like the variation on it. The pulling on the small crimps to start and smearing up the volumes, and then suddenly going into this press, suddenly going really powerful, and then back into the smear again as well. The transition between the two styles is really cool. That's a hard to stand on foot hold position, that.
You can see the press on the underside of that volume. Looks quite nice using that volume with your right hand on top. Just helps you establish a bit of height, pushing through the legs. And Luca Posch not finding anything at the moment with 1 minute left. Foot swap again, looks like she's suffering with skin.
Mia doesn't seem to be quite able to get back to her high point again.
Yeah, 50 seconds, under 50 seconds left now. Going in for a retape. It's going to be a bit of a desperate last attempt here. She's got about 10 seconds, you would have thought, to get that tape on and get re-chalked up. Really short on time now. Is it going to be enough? She takes a quick look at the clock. And Luca Posch getting closer and closer to sticking it. 30 seconds left now. She's going to have to climb fast through this boulder. Must be so frustrating for the climbers to be bleeding every time they come out.
Another zing there, and that's her attempt over. Again, Luca Posch is still on board. Almost onto the arete then. That was the slowest he went on that move. That time it got super close. That's it, the buzzer. Round is over.
Be good to see the full tower of results, so we can see exactly where the competition sits at the moment as we get to halfway through on this second boulder. Hopefully we can bring that for you guys. Looks like this competition is going to go down to the final boulder.
The extremely tall and extremely strong Sergei Topishko is out on the mat and joined by Lucia Tarkush, the young and up-and-coming Slovenian lady.
Judge not happy with Sergei Topishko's starting position there. Let's see how Lucia gets on with this slabby number. Oh, we don't know too much about her, so we don't know her ins and outs of her toolbox, what she can do on different styles.
We've seen it this way with the right hand on the top, the left hand now turning underneath into an undercut.
That was interesting on the men's side there. Sergei Topishko almost using his full wingspan to go between the volume and the arete, and just waving at that next volume higher up as well.
This is looking good. Just can get this foot on. Get
so
some real weight through it now.
So she's going to go quickly to the finish hold rather than shuffling up the left hand.
It's quite hard to decide what to do because it looks like you could probably push down on the white volume as well. Maybe to one into an undercut and pull on the left hand or press down on that right hand. It's really hard to tell with those holds.
Yeah, you could see on that final big triangle up and left, there's a lot of chalk going all the way up that volume. Potentially it could be better to shuffle the left hand. Easier said than done, certainly from our position, sipping coffee here in a warm studio. Out there, 16-year-old on the mats, all on her own. Certainly can't discuss it with anybody anymore. Sergei Topishko, pedaling up the arete. Fell up that.
That was good. 1, 2, 3 up a layback. Never seen that before. I think he's just fallen off, but he's still on.
He's fallen off for a second time.
And he managed to clap hands, I think, at that point.
Wow. That was something ridiculous. He fell off it 3 times pretty much, and he still managed to find a top. He turned in the top move into a coordination move off the arete. Gotta think a bit of wingspan helped him there, but take nothing away from him. That was a really impressive ascent.
He basically just fell up that last move.
Oh, this is nice as well from Lucia. Oh, no, exactly where Jessie Bill slipped as well. Lucia Tarkush just slipped on that top move. I would love to see a replay of Sergei's attempt on that. That was amazing.
Yeah, how many times did you slip and still stay on?
I think that one will be going around the internet a few times.
Well, 52 seconds on the clock. It's definitely long enough for this young lady to climb this boulder. She's back on board.
Close to a slightly dubious start there, but the judges aren't running on, so they're actually happy with it.
this move alone, this standing up into this shoulder press undercut, looks absolutely brutal.
Slight slip backwards, manages to maintain contact. Such a slow boulder as well now with 25 seconds left. Bit of fishing rod action there as well coming into the shot.
Yeah, she looked a little bit tired on that go, and we can understand why. That previous effort was really, really good and very close to the top.
There we can see the full results. Sergei Topishko now 3 tops in 7 attempts. Janja still at the top at the moment. Chloe and obviously Janja still to go. Luchka still to go as well. It's going to be a tight one, this one.
Hopefully it will be very exciting right towards the finish. We still have a long way to go. Great set of boulders up to now. People are climbing them, getting very close on the ladies. A couple of ascents on the men's now. 1 ascent on the men's. And some very close shaves. Gregor Vazonik now for the men, and Luchka Rakovic for the ladies. Gregor just eyeing this move out onto the arete. Looks like he thinks he might be able to do it in control, but trying to go as slow as possible onto that arete and palm down, and then maintain contact with the wall and not go out the back door. Luchka back on again. This move looks quite tasty, standing down on this bad foothold, slightly wrong angle. Struggling to get up into that volume though, Luchka.
Yeah, if this boulder ends up being a really big important moment here in the women's competition, it's going to be quite interesting because Lucia and Jessie both had the finish hold right in their sights up there. I think there could be some big moments there. Chloe Collier doesn't do this boulder quickly, but Janja does. She could win this competition on this boulder.
Great shot there from the sky cam. Or the fishing rod. But the more technical term.
Drone, I think, is the real term.
Is it?
I don't know.
It's definitely not a drone.
Rod cam. The producer shouts at us.
Yeah, rod cam. We've just had our wrist slapped for calling it a fishing rod.
It's an expensive fishing rod, I reckon.
Yeah.
Stick.
Camera on a stick. I'm sure if Jan Genou, our French friend from the United Kingdom, is listening to us now, he will be very excited there's a fishing rod involved in this competition.
Yeah, Jan Genou, IFSC route setter, big-time fisherman. Luchka now looking really solid on this stand-up move. It's a really tenuous foot swap there. She does well. It's where we saw Lucia and Jessie looking really solid on this section. Can we find a top here? Look at that span across between the volume and the big white fiberglass hold on the right. Oh, this is superb here from Luchka Rakovic. Can we find the first top? And she does. Back in the game, Luchka Rakovic. Looks so solid on the feet up there. Didn't see that foot slip that we saw from Jessie and Lucia on the last move. Looks absolutely perfect all the way through that boulder, and Gregor again is walking away.
Well, for a moment on that last move, she did put both feet on that volume and managed to stay in contact. But that could be a big game changer, a top on that for Luchka. Puts her onto 2 tops. So next out is Chloe Collier, Belgium. If she does this, that will put her and keep her in contention with Janja. Put the pressure on, keep the pressure down, but Luchka has just done that as well. Just put some more pressure on these two. Top of the leaderboard, maintaining her third position at the moment. Great switch up of style of boulders this, from power to precision.
Interesting high left foot position there from Chloe straight away. Looking bunched on that volume. Moves dynamically into the undercut. See how Jerne gets on with this arrête. Just trying to go fingernails down the back of the right hand. Has to move fast in the hands. Try to go for a little foot tap. That could work. Sergei Topishko, the only guy to top. It's boulder number 3.
I think he was quite lucky on that top. He just sort of fell in the right direction.
He fell in a lot of... He was swimming up there, wasn't he?
It's just... If you start falling, just keep the body parts moving and you never know what they're going to catch. And it worked for him. He found himself at the top of boulder number 2 and the top of the leaderboard. Jerne back on.
Jerne and Chloe both know that this is going to go down to the wire, this competition. I think the routines are going to be a little bit surprised here. I think women's boulder's now been topped, but for the men's boulder, big struggle over here on this arrête. She goes in for the Jerne just down there and right, goes in for the liquid chalk. Takes an opportunity to rest while it dries out. Again, Chloe going for that really high left foot. Just to make quite a powerful stab into this underside of the volume. Oh, superb. Look at that, heels down, putting as much force through the shoe as possible.
She's switched to the standard method that we've been seeing already in this competition. That's the left toe high on that little edge. Left hand, she'll probably turn them now to an undercut. This is really nice from Chloe at the minute. We've seen a few people in this position, but only one top from this height. Chloe will need to step up onto that volume with the left foot. Hard foot swap here.
Gets the foot swap done nicely. She was really delaying getting that in and actually completely committed to it in the end. You can see her wincing a little bit through being spanned and the pain through the left arm. Absolute warrior mode here for Chloe Collier. 2 hands on the big volume now, shuffling up this arrête. This is an awesome effort here from Chloe Collier, keeping herself right in this one. Off the top floor. Looks at her skin. I think she was completely out of chalk by that point.
It's such a shame after such a good fight there. There's only 40 seconds left on the clock, so I think they're going to really struggle to get another good attempt. Chloe, the best she can do is walk away with the zone that she's already got. So I think there's enough time to the top. Jerne doesn't have the zone yet, so...
Well, Chloe must believe that she's got time for another go, because she's back on. 20 seconds now. She's going to have to go really quickly through this boulder. Technically, it could be possible. Jörne's got to find something special here, because not much happening for him, and it does all of a sudden find something special, but then falls off the arrête. And Chloe, has she timed this one right? 3 seconds, he is timed out. It's a great effort from Chloe.
Yeah, that was very close from Chloe, but she didn't make the top there, so stays with her score. Moves ahead of Janja Gambret at the moment with 2 tops. And 3 zones, Janja Gambret on 2 tops and 2 zones. Janja still to climb on the boulder that we've just seen Chloe on. Here comes Janja Gambret and Vadim Timonov, the final climbers on boulder number 3.
Such a close one, even in the men's competition. It's going to be going down to the final boulder. Number of zones being crucial.
There's quite a lot of climbers there in the men's on 2 boulders. It's pretty tight at the top.
Sergei Tepishko currently in a really great position. Chloe Colley looking to everything she can to cling on to that first position. Janja Garnbret can also take it away from her here.
Little slip with the right hand, just popped off that start hold. Looked pretty steady on the first part of the boulder. Vadim had his first go, he's just putting it back in, brushing the holds. Quick wipe of his boots with some chalky hands.
Just looking at the scores here, Gaz. Chloe Collier, far as I'm aware, on the quick graphic we saw there, 2 tops, 3 zones in 5 attempts to top, 8 attempts to the zones. You can see on the scores there, Janja's currently got 2 tops, 2 zones, and 4 and 3. So if she can find quick tops here, could be over, but it's going to come down to attempts. Let's focus on the action for now, not bother with the maths. That's nice from Janja. Quickly through that section, bit of volume wrestling, great angle up high on the wall there.
Super confident on that foot swap, wow. It's the one we've seen a few people slip off, this left volume now with the left foot.
Oh, dynamically into the top.
I was thinking silently to myself, she's not going to try and do this top move dynamic as she, and she did. And yeah, it doesn't look like the best of choices. We've seen it done, but not like that. Seen it done a lot slower than that attempt.
Does push this boulder into the final round, which is great. It's superb seeing Janja tested like this. She hasn't lost a boulder competition for a very, very long time. Vadim Timonov not enjoying men's number 3 also. Really little action on that arete. Only Sergei Tepishko finding something. Janja absolutely cruising through this lower section. So confident in the feet, just skipping around on the bad footholds. Let's see what she can do this time. So spanned on that lower section. She can't get her left hand up. We thought that was going to be an option, but it looks like she's just going to confidently pounce into it again. Now she's looking around for different options. So Chloe walking up this arete now. That's it, bringing the right foot in. Janja's going to lose the right hand very shortly though, because she gets too spanned. Again, pushes into it quickly. Oh, and holds it somehow. Superb from Janja Garnbret.
Yeah, amazing performance again there from Janja. Not really understanding how to do that move. And as the time counted down, just went with total commitment. Managed to hold the finish with the right hand and get the match.
So in the next round, Chloe would have to boss the boulder and Janja would have to not do it for this to be a bit of an upset, as Vadim Timonov looks for something a bit different. It has effectively worked, this boulder, for the root setters, but it's I'm not sure what he was doing there. He was going to smash the TV or he was celebrating. I don't quite know. We are moving on though to the 4th and final boulder. We go down to the centre of the wall now.
Yeah, that was definitely a very interesting boulder for the men over on the right-hand side. Not many holds, not many tops, but it got climbed, so it was very possible. Great to see there. We've got the scores. Current scores on the screen. Sergei, 3 tops. Yannick in 2nd place with 2. Vadim, split on attempts, again in 2. And Yannick Kruder currently sitting in 4th place, also with 2 tops.
Yeah, that could all easily switch around though.
Yeah, it could definitely switch around quite quickly with a lot of attempts on tops and a lot of attempts on zones. It could be quite easily changed with a swift flash or 2.
Yeah, Sergei Tepishko in the men's competition is the one to beat at the moment. 3 tops, 3 zones, both in 7 attempts. Yannick Flo is in 2nd place, so he'll be putting the heat on straight away here if he can get a quick top.
Yeah, this for the men looks like a super cool and funky boulder through these interesting beta volume wings. As for a sequence, don't ask us. And probably don't ask the climbers either. I don't think they've got too much of a sequence yet.
Let's see what Jesse's got left in the tank on this fourth and final boulder. Big fight required, really. Just an absolute journey on these big slopey volumes. Axis holds. Nice there, good flexibility for the right heel for Jesse Pills. Such an incredible athlete. Huge Austrian and Slovenian contingent here this weekend. Yannick Floe piling on the pressure on the other guys if he can find a top here. Least needs a zone. Just to progress up the leaderboard, it's basically a top or nothing here for Yannick Floe. So many attempts to get his earlier zones.
This is a really tough boulder. Not only it's physically a hard boulder, it actually takes quite a long time to climb it. It's going to sap a lot of power, a lot of strength.
Volume's right behind him, miles behind him.
He was almost on that boulder for a minute and a half then. Took a lot of effort. Jessie also made quite good progress on her fourth and final boulder.
Yeah, if he wants to win this competition, he's got to top this boulder. To give him 3 tops and 4 zones.
I think he's going to run the clock down a little bit here. Needs to recover. He was on that boulder for a long time now. It's quite a hard thing to actually stand on the mat and read. It's more one of those boulders where you've got to sort of get on it and see what happens. All that effort, and he didn't even get to the zone. Jesse Piltz, the first to pull back on. Jesse's already made it to the zone on this fourth and final boulder for her.
Yeah, she'll be looking for a top to get herself a podium position. She's currently down in 4th.
Good technique through this first initial section with that high toe, heel hook, toe hook there.
It's a real slow and steady journey here in the women's competition. Oh, big dry fire off there for Jessie Pills. Still searching around for the methods here. Got to try and get all the way out to that big fin out on the right, the sail volume. Looks like he's running out of gas really quickly here.
36 seconds left. Jessie back on first. Yannick on also. It's probably going to be the last attempt for both athletes here. Yannick moving quickly now through this lower sideways section of climbing.
Ramped up the pace all of a sudden here, Yannick Floe. Looks like Jessie's powered out, and they're both tapping out at that point.
That was Yannick's best attempt though there. He did make it to the final sail volume, fin, whatever you want to call it. Made it with his right hand. But that'll be the final scores for Jessie Piltz. And Yannick
Floe going out in 2nd place at the moment. It can be potentially taken away from him, just number of attempts. It's actually, from our position, it's a little bit tricky to read the number of attempts on to zones from our position, just the size of the screen we've got.
And my eyesight.
Maybe I should have gone to Specsavers, actually. It might be nothing to do with the screen.
Did you get a bonus for that name drop?
Yeah, of course. Did you not read that in the contract?
No, I missed that one.
I'm just trying to drop the name Ferrari in there at some point as well, but...
No, not very good in the UK with all the holes in the roads. Right, who's going to pull on first? Gianluca tries to work out some sort of sequence through this cluster of volumes and fins that is the men's boulder. Mia looks like she's getting ready. First one to pull on.
Women really firing off these volumes at the moment. You see there's a big tick mark. There's a small triangle just on the backside of that sail that the guys can have a bit of a leg wrap on. Almost searching for a hand jam there. Don't think that was the intended method by the route setters. A little slot volume for the left hand. That was nice. They're really shaking at the moment here, Gianluca Posch. So much power going through the fingers. This is looking good though. How far behind it is. Oh, unlucky there really. It was going really well. It's all eyes on Mia Krampel though. She's high up now. Established through the zone. Really full stretching the legs with that right toe hook.
We've already seen Jessica into this position. Now this next move does look hard on this boulder. 2 more holds to the top. This move looks tough and the left heel just blows there. Back on the mat. Mia really struggling with only 1 top and 3 zones at the moment. A little bit off the pace in this final. Young Gianluca Posch, regardless I think of the outcome of this actual final, he'll be pretty happy to be picking up the pace with some of the big guns of the bouldering world.
Mia just really running down the clock. Such a long, powerful boulder.
There's a bit more control this time. He's got a bit of a sequence by the looks of it.
Now he goes for a hand jam, I think, in the back there.
Looks like for a bit of a thumb lock.
Just loses it. Looks so far behind you, that move. It's hard to keep contact on the left hand. Mia Krampel in for the big fight at the top of this final boulder.
Not long left on the clock for these two. Almost down to 1 minute. I think we'll see another attempt from both climbers.
Mia can actually improve her position here if she can find a top, obviously, and a zone. The zone will be given to her automatically if she does find the top. It's worth fighting for out there.
That's the buzzer gone. This will be, I think, the last attempt. Both boulders climb quite long. A lot of moves to get to where the climbers are falling off. And Luca first to set off. Mia back on now on the left-hand side of the screen. Wonder if this move is actually a move out on the hand jam to stop that rotation. Oh, he came super close to holding it then.
Possibly the final burn here for Mia. Nice little 1-2, and again, everything you've got now. Not going to be enough. Shake of the head. Mia Krampel's out. She won't be improving her position, unfortunately, from 5th. It's a big fight here, but a good start to the season for Mia Krampel to make the final, nonetheless. It's all out of time for Gianluca Posch. Is going back in for it anyway. Never really controlled the zone. He taps out as well in 5th position. Now it starts to get really exciting.
I've just noticed on that final fin, there is another volume underneath it that pokes out on the right-hand side. I wonder if you take the undercut, which is what Gianluca did in control, and before going for the fin, you spin and put the right heel on. And that'll give you the heel to pull you round and out onto the edge of that last fin. And then from what the route setters were saying, it's get on board the fin and start lay back in.
Now then, Sergei Tapishko tops this. He wins the competition. Nobody would be able to catch him at that point because he was the only climber to top boulder number 3. Wonder how he will deal with the nerves here. Let's see Tarkush. Currently sitting down in 6th position. 16 years old, trots onto the mat now. Again, a zone hold would be nice. definitely elevate her position out of 6th. Sergei Tapishko then, the top here, wins the competition. All the way out to that far crack with his right hand. Looks like he skipped a little slot. Now he goes back to it. Such a confuser, this boulder. Really got to figure it out on the fly. Fully mounted on this middle sail.
Dropping on the same move as Gianluca there, that big reach out, the long distance behind you. You can see in that shot we've got now how far out it is to that final fin. Brushes on the job with that boulder. Meanwhile, over on the left, the young Slovenian girl is back on and off. Bodies must be super tired by now. Minutes 20 on the clock. Sergei, the first to pull on again. Different technique through this initial section than we've seen from the previous climber.
It's really casual, really, through that lower section. Sergei Tapishko, but I haven't seen anybody find a nice method on this next bit. It's so steep, it's hard to tell what he's doing with his feet there.
If you go with the right hand to that lip, you just can't hold that left. It just doesn't stay in, that pinch that he's got with the left hand.
Such a battle on this women's boulder. You go all the way out of the starting position, back round, and then eventually end up back with your right hand in the starting hold. So many moves.
Yeah, really physical start, and then suddenly quite sloper exit from the steep section. Good flexibility to get that high foot onto the zone there, left foot. Now this is where the meat really starts with this boulder. It's where the holds get very bad, and she's off, left foot, losing the left foot first. Couldn't quite hold the rotation.
Interesting that Sergei Tapishko has been given the zone on this boulder. That's the final big fin. Unless I missed something, I wonder if that will be appealed. I may have missed it.
Well, I think it's because he's going into it underneath it with the right hand.
Very surprised if this judging team got anything wrong, so it's probably my mistake. He's tapping on the underside of it to guarantee himself the zone. Does that constitute as control? The rule books are out. That's probably the holding of the zone there. You're right there, Gaz. It does award him the zone.
I think that's it for both climbers. Good effort there. We have to wait now and see what is the possibility of Sergei Tapishko being overtaken. Mike's currently scurrying away out of the bit of paper.
Yeah, to be honest, I think
trying to work out some numbers.
I think because he's got the zone there, so the attempts of Vadim Timonov to get tops, even if Vadim topped it, the attempts are against him, unfortunately. Vadim Timonov will be the final climber out, but he's got 2 tops in and 3 zones in 8 and 15 attempts, respectfully.
Yeah, that's it. Sergei on 4 zones there.
Yeah, even if it was Vadim to top it, it'd be 3 tops, 4 zones. He's already taken more attempts to his, that would be to his tops. Sergei Tapishko's 3 tops in 7 attempts. That's probably done it for him.
So Luchka Rakovic, the first person to pull back on, followed by Gregor Vazonik. Teammates. As we were learning from Özge earlier on, very good friends as well, not only teammates and competitors together. Travel and climb and train together all the time. It's good to hear. Gregor making good progress through these really complex fins.
Nice from Gregor Vozonik. First climber really to stick the main element of that hold. Shuffles up to it. This is looking really good. We're pulling a bit of a rabbit out of the hat here for Gregor Vozonik. He's had a bit of a nightmare on the last couple of boulders, so to finish off with a top here would be spectacular. Great for the show as well. He's got to walk up this volume and pounce for that big ledge at the top of the wall. Gregor Vozonik's just chilling now to finish the competition. Luchka's putting in a big fight here as well. Gregor just hanging out on the ledge.
I think Gregor thinks he's on a sport route. Some 3D monster in Kalymnos. Tying up that last hold.
Doesn't want to go for it at the moment. It's got a release out of the roof. Oh, and Luchka just slips off the penultimate hold. Big smile on her face. So it's superb sort of pre-season battles going down here. Gregor then lines it up this time. Still not happy to commit to it.
Really interesting top move.
Lucky this is not 4+ minutes format these days, isn't it? Because you could be up there all day. Big tense moment is building here for Gregor Vozonik. He's got to commit to it at some point. He's got loads of time. Has he got energy to hang on there forever? It doesn't look too much of a strenuous position. Now he looks like he's going to go for it, and does, and gets it done. In the end, it wasn't too much of a problem, but it was a real heart-in-the-mouth moment there. Gregor Vozonik finishing his big pre-season event with a nice little top to finish the round. He has been smiles and laughs all around this weekend. He's a top guy and a great athlete. Superb show from Gregor. He can have a lie down on his pillow now, can't he?
Yeah, he can.
He's brought it with him.
Yeah. Have a little rest now. That was a really good effort, but all eyes now are on Luchka Rekovic. The clock is counting down 1 minute. We've seen her very high on this boulder already. 2 tops and 3 zones are in the bank. Let's see if she can make it 3 tops. Definitely a hard block to finish on this, relying heavily on skin. Losing the foot there, just back on the mat. Looks like she will try again. One last burn. Oh, you can see how hard that first move is, that drop into double undercuts. That's it, she calls it a day, checks the skin.
Yeah, time to have a couple of days off, grow some skin back.
She's still got some, I think.
Brutal weekend here at the Studio Bloc Masters, but fantastic pre-season preparation. Not only is it good preparation for training, general strength, working on the boulders, but also just to see where everybody is in the season. In many ways, the actual result, who wins this one, who takes away the podiums, isn't really that important in these athletes' eyes. I don't think it's about the training element of this and pre-season workout. Getting back into comp mode. Chloe Collier and Yone Kruder out next then.
I think if there's anyone I'd have some money on for really climbing this boulder, then Yone is the man. He does like this sort of real physical, crushing style of boulder. But we shall see. Only 1 top up to now. No tops on the female boulder to the left. But Chloe Collier, I'm sure, is determined.
Yeah, podium still available here for
Change
Yone.
that.
Chloe, if she wants to pile on the pressure here, has to do this one very quickly and hope that Janja doesn't do it.
It's always a big ask, that. First to top what looks like one of the harder boulders of this ladies' tour. And 2, think that Janja might not be able to do it, but stranger things have happened.
Chloe's just been an absolutely outstanding athlete this weekend. interviews with her earlier, if you caught the pre-show. Battling through injury in the semi-final, still pushing on to this round and just been looking in great pre-season form. Superb from Chloe. Jörne's got the big battle face on underneath the roof. Oh, nearly saved there. A little toe hook underneath the middle sail volume there.
Yeah, that was the method that Gregor actually used, was that toe hook. I didn't really quite see when he put the toe hook in, whether it was before the move or he just did catch it as he did the move. There is a tick mark there, pointing down to where that toe hook is going, whether there's a hold there or not. We didn't actually check underneath.
Yeah, there's just a small triangular volume. It's very similar to the starting 2 volumes. There's one of those tucked under there.
So yeah, that seems to be the method to go out to the final wing. You need to have that toe hook in place to hold you on. So we have seen a top. Previous climber, Gregor Vazonic. Sent it with style. The only question left is, will we see another?
Chloe's surely going to run the clock down here. She just needs to top this boulder. To put everything on the final climber, Janja. Jörne with that 3 zones has pushed himself up into 3rd. The off-season he's had, breaking bones all over the place. There's a heel, and then a crushed heel, and then an elbow. So pieces this winter. To come back and be fighting just shows what an awesome athlete he is.
Well, that's it. He's managed to come out of that into the season and looking reasonably strong. Yeah, season's long for him. He's got a lot of competitions to do, so he's only going to get fitter and stronger again. It's good to see. Always a fighter. Chloe back on also. This is probably it. She gets high. She needs to top this boulder, as we've said, to stand a chance to take the win here. She's looking good though.
Jörne burns out on the underside of that volume. It's got to be one of Chloe's goes of her life here. Looking good at the moment. Got to release that toe, catching a big spin off. 38 seconds, is it going to be enough?
That was such a good attempt from Chloe there. She looked pretty solid on that. Jörne's back on. He's only got 30 seconds on the clock. He's going to have to motor through this sequence.
He's going for it.
Gets the heel, gets that leg wrap. But it's such a complicated boulder. There's a lot of movements to even get to the move that he's starting to fall off.
Chloe's throwing in the towel as well. Hands the win to Janja before she's even climbed on the last boulder. And Jörne.
Oh, Jörne, it looks going. Like he has found an easier method there.
Found a way. If only he could have kept going. Great show from Jörne Kruder. I think he's going to be spectacularly happy with his performance here at the Studio Bloc Masters once again. I think it's 5 years in a row that he's made the finals at Studio Bloc.
Well, certainly he's going to be very happy that he is back on the international circuit and back with a vengeance. Sitting currently in 3rd place, Jörne Kruder. Sergei Topishko at the top is unable to be beaten now. Yannick Floey, 2 tops and 4 zones. We have one more climber in the men's final and the women's final.
Yeah, I hope this show does go spectacularly as we hope on the final boulder, because like I said, the win is one thing, but it's about putting on a good show and a good practice on these boulders before the IFSC World Cup season starts. And Janja Garnbret, opportunity to be the only climber to walk away with 4 tops. Vadim Timonov can go in with 3 tops, just to the number of attempts to zone holds though. Can't beat Sergei on this one. Topishko's walked away with this one pretty early on.
Janja already has the top spot on the podium, but in true Janja style, she will not want to go away from this competition with a boulder unclimbed. And this is the final boulder for her tour. Swiftly through to the zone for Janja.
Janja Garnbret looking to show everybody out there what sort of fitness she's in. She's had the most spectacular season probably in IFSC history in 2019. Can she start 2020 off in a similar vein. Vadim Timonov, he is looking good here on number 4 as well as Janja Garnbret. We've got one more move to do in this competition. Oh, holds the move whilst keeping a right foot on, levitates to the finish hold. Janja Garnbret once again absolutely dominates the Studio Bloc Masters.
That was amazing from Janja Garnbret there, but did you see that stab out with the right foot from Vadim Timonov onto the base of that volume? This is a fantastic finish now. He's got all the time in the world, 2 minutes 50 on the clock. But he's going to go for it. He needs 2 hands on the top. Vadim Timonov finishes with a top on men's 4 at the Studio Bloc Masters 2020.
What a fantastic finish to the competition. Great work from the route setting team. They've absolutely nailed this one. Men's boulder down on the far right-hand side only saw 1 top, and ultimately that's what decided it here. Great job all the way through from the qualifiers, semi-finals and finals. I think the organisers, route setters, everybody, hopefully at home as well, has thoroughly enjoyed that one. We certainly have up here, Gaz, I would say. There you go, there you can see it. Sergei Depishko. I'm so happy the results system has come back to life just at the right moment. We were going around with pens and paper. Sergei Depishko takes it with the 3 tops and 4 zones. Yannick Floe from Germany hasn't got that Olympic spot, but he's looking really solid in 2020. 2 tops, 4 zones for him. Yone Kruder back on an international stage podium, 2 tops, 3 zones. Vadim Timonov, he will actually get bumped up there, so that actually is a little bit premature, that results I have to say. Vadim Timonov will shoot into 2nd place, so apologise for that. Gregor Vazonik will be in 5th, and Jan-Luca Posch, pretty decent, solid performance for him actually.
Great showing there from the young Jan-Luca. Onto the women's final, it's Janja Garnbret at the top of the tree. Obviously these results are provisional, but yeah, we do know that Janja has topped all 4 boulders. Chloe Collier putting in an excellent performance there with 2 tops. With the injury that she picked up in the semi-final, managed to hold herself together and climb it very well in that final. Luchka Rakovic in 3rd place, Jessie Pils in 4th. Mia Krampel, sadly not quite the performance I'm sure she was hoping for. Sitting down in 5th place, and the very young but obviously very talented Lucia Tarkos, again from the Slovenian powerhouse team, in 6th place. A great performance all round for Team Slovenia there.
Yeah, overall, it's many ways in the women's competition how you would have predicted. Chloe Collier has done so well there. We talked a lot about the injury. You could see she was constantly holding that arm, but to go through surrounded by the Slovenians was just an awesome effort. You know, it's just her and Jessie Pils, the 2 non-Slovenians, to make for the final. So much pressure on these guys when they're just a blizzard of Slovenians all around them. We see it with Slovenians, we see it a lot with the Japanese at the World Cups, but yeah, she did fantastically well. I think she would be pleased with that.
When I was chatting to Zoe, Chloe, when she was having her arm seen to by the Slovenian physio, I mean, she was super nice, super chilled, really, really relaxed, and it sort of shows how cool this sport is that she's in the final as a Belgian surrounded by a team of Slovenian crushers as well, and it's the Slovenian physio that's looking after her.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing.
That's amazing. I mean, you just wouldn't see that anywhere else, and this is a sport that's going to take that friendliness and enjoyment and care for each other to the Olympics, which is so cool to see.
Yeah, a lot of people saying, will the Olympics change the sport? And in 2020, it doesn't seem to have so far. Let's hope that continues all the way through to the end of July, August. In the men's competition, Sergei Depishko on that boulder number 3, the swim up the arete. I mean, I can't wait to see that back. It was like 1, 2, 3, almost 4 times he fell off on the boulder. Somehow ended up making the final move, a bit of coordination out to the finish hold, stick in the arete. It was super impressive, and that's ultimately what's won in the competition. I mean, do not give up on a boulder.
Totally climbed by accident.
Yeah, we're going to go straight into an interview actually with our winners, with Nikki down at the wall.
We don't know yet about the winner.
Hello to Studio Bloc Masters 2020. Nikki here with Vadim Timonov and Sergei Depishko. We don't know yet who won, but I think it will be one of you. So cheers to you, Vadim, and your beer will be open in a second. So cheers, and thank you so much for the show so far. What happened at boulder number 4, Vadim, please?
Boulder number 4? I don't know, it's a devil inside me.
How did it feel to climb onto the wave and then jump to the last hole?
Perfect. That last move is so scary, but only one chance.
And what happened at boulder number 3? Did you think you were able to climb it this way when you took a look at it while observing the boulder?
No, we all thought that it is the hardest boulder, and if someone will do it, he will win. And when I took the last hold, I was so surprised that I hold it actually. So I'm so happy that I did it.
What's the last hold actually like?
Yeah, the last hold was good, but the zone was like super slippery.
You can say it. It's really.
And to match it, I think it was impossible to match it. That I doubled and jumped to the top.
What did you think while observing was the easiest boulder? Which boulder did you think you would be able to flash?
First one, but it's tricky boulder, but easiest one.
Yeah, first was easier.
And boulder number 3, for me it's impossible.
Why?
I not slab master.
You can become a slab master if you want to.
In a semi-final?
You can be. Yeah, the semi-final slab was quite good, huh?
I am shocked about it.
Maybe you have to train a little bit more on slabs. But let's come back to the.
You don't need to train. He's a monster.
Yeah, he's a monster. I've seen your Instagram channel, and that's impressive. But let's come back to Studio Blockmaster. Last year you were here. You were which place?
3rd place, and he 2nd place.
Yeah, and I was 2nd, and he was 3rd.
And now it all comes.
Battle, like who will win?
Now it all comes down, and would you give him, like, would you be happy if he wins?
Yeah, for sure. He's my good friend.
Would you?
The same, for sure.
Climb together.
So you climb and train together? Where do you do that?
In Rocklands, in I don't know. Sometimes I come to.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, guys, for taking the time so far. I hope we will know soon who will win this competition. I don't know anything. So enjoy your beer. See you later on the podium, and I will continue with Janja Gambret if you don't mind.
Thank you.
So see you later. Thank you so much. I'm joined here by Janja Gambret. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel great. I mean, the boulders were amazing, so I feel great.
Okay, that was an easy question to enter the conversation. And which one was your favorite boulder?
I think all the boulder problems were interesting. They were all different, all tricky, but I like the most the last one. It was most powerful, and yeah, it was a great climb.
Would you always prefer powerful climbing over slab climbing, even though slab climbing can be really adventurous and really exciting?
Yeah, at first I didn't like slabs, I must say, but this year actually I like all of the boulder problems. I'm more of a powerful climber. I like more powerful boulders, but still I like this slab in the finals. It was really nice, and I enjoyed all the boulders.
That's good to hear. Would you like to climb the last boulder problem? Oh, I think we are done here. I think we have to celebrate your win. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking the time, and enjoy whatever it's called, the ceremony.
Absolutely hilarious from start to finish there. Can't help but smile. Studio Blockmasters is such a great atmosphere. Beers, beers, beers down the front of the wall. We're sticking to the ice waters here and coffees just to try and keep this competition in one shape. It looks like we're going to cut straight to the wall because the presentation is underway. Yannick Floe is taking the 3rd spot. Presented by one of the owners here, Robert Lux, the 3rd place position. Vadim Timonov is given that 2nd position. For some reason down the front there, they couldn't tell who had won. I think there's a bit too many beers potentially.
Definitely too much beer flowing down there. But great to see the bants on the screen there from Vadim and Sergei. Obviously very good friends. Love competing against each other. But it is once again Sergei that takes the place above Vadim. He steps onto the top step.
Yeah, Sergei Patishko on that final boulder. You heard he was most surprised, more surprised than anybody else to swim up that final boulder. Takes the €3,000 check. That'll go nicely. Get a few more trips to Rocklands there with his mate Vadim. That'll be very nice indeed. Great competition in the men's side. Superb boulders. Route setters have really nailed this one.
There you have your top three: Sergei Tepishko, Vadim Timonov and Yannick Floey. Great performance by the young Yannick there. I'm sure he'll be happy with that.
Vadim wants to go for the champagne spray. Not sure if it's quite that sort of beverage, to be honest.
I think it's wine. Don't think that works.
Or just randomly throw water around. What a waste a good bottle of wine. That might be a vintage year.
Good crowd there in the house on top of the boulder. Stacked very close to the wall. A great place to view such amazing athletes.
It's not often, even at a World Cup, to get that close to such an amazing set of athletes is superb.
Well, that's it. Usually if you go to the World Cups, there is a lot of coaches and physios down the front, so you don't get to witness the action so close.
Third place in the women's competition, really well deserved from Luch Karakovic, 2 tops and 3 zones. And many people in the house here will be so pleased for Chloe. That injury during the semi-finals, pushed through, taped up and just got on with it. Chloe Collier, 2 tops and 4 zones. She was pushing Janja all the way to the end. Couldn't find a top on the final boulder, which gifted it to Janja. No surprises really, 2020 winner of the Studio Bloc Masters and winner of pretty much everything going for quite a long time now. Janja Garnbret, she is unbelievable. She's pretty much unstoppable at the moment, and she goes into this Olympic year with a competition win already under her belt. Absolutely superb.
Once again, all good friends on the podium there. I'm sure they've had an excellent competition this weekend. As have we, Michael. It's been really good fun.
It's definitely a fun competition, a little bit more light-hearted than some of the international World Cups and World Championships. Absolutely brilliant, and the athletes, they just love it as well. And it's no surprising why this competition is so popular, why people are coming back year on year. 800 registered climbers for this event. Around 750 actually got amongst it. 752 because we had a go as well. It was absolutely brilliant from start to finish, really.
Yeah, well, once again, it's been brilliant to be invited back again. And hopefully we will be looking forward to 2021 and see what moves the route setting team comes out with in the future.
Well, from us in the studio, it's been emotional, it's been hard work, but it's been great fun, and it's absolutely superb to see the World Cup climbers so early on in season. We look forward to the Quiff next week now, the European Championships coming up soon, and obviously we do really hope, fingers crossed, for the IFSC season so far. So from myself in the studio, Gaz, we had Eddie earlier, and Urska Rapucic also joined us in the studio.
We finally found her.
We found her. Thank you so much for joining us. I do hope you've enjoyed the show, and we'll see you at the next one. Good night.
Good night.
I would say the first point for a good belaying is that the belayer keeps me from hitting the ground. This is the first most important point. Probably one of the #1 points in belaying is to never take your brake hand off the rope.
we didn't need. Big budgets. Big gyms. A big crowd. Big news. To become. A big sport.